Hey guys. This is part 2 of What If Naruto was reincarnated as the heir of the Vongola Mafia family, Sawada Tsunayoshi. Hit like and subscribe if you like this one, and also please check the author in the description. Let's start. Chapter 16. Like all good things, summer came to an end all too soon, and with it, their Italian escapades. Arya was devastated to see them go at the airport, drowning his brats in hugs and kisses and presents, all the while sending Gamma that put a baby in me or else look. Gamma, the poor fuck, was trapped between feeling the yes I am finally free ecstasy and the I'm never gonna be free am I damnation. It wasn't an attractive look on him. Xiaomao waggled his brows and covertly slipped him a bottle of pills right before they boarded their plane, which Naruto complimented by adding an illustrated BDSM for Dummies manual. Gamma's roar of anguish when Arya found them could be heard all the way to the jet bridge. Naruto missed them already. 15 hours later, they arrived in Japan, specifically at Baby Kabuto's recently purchased estate, where Team C plus Hayato were dropped off. Indefinitely. Verde was ensconced in his laboratory, up to his neck in Fuinjutsu studies, thus too preoccupied to notice their intrusion. He dismissed the shiver that crawled down the line of his vertebrae as mild exhaustion and caffeine jitters. Until the creepy murder laughter started, and by then it was too late. The first thing Naruto did after depositing the rest of his kids to their respective homes was to drag Xiaomao over to his place and have him examine Nana. It had been gnawing at him for years. He'd be damned if he didn't find a way to cure that poor woman from whatever mindfuckery she was afflicted with. So? Naruto tapped his foot, staring at Nana's unconscious body laid out on the couch, impatient and worried and not liking how Xiaomao grimaced when he withdrew his fire chakra. Complicated. Sighing, Xiaomao sat down and lit a cigarette, skin tight around his mouth, exhaling deeply. I detected some minuscule traces of mistampering, but they're so faint it must have been done years ago. More than a decade maybe, by now it's more like echoes. I can't even pinpoint what exactly was done to her, but my best guess would be memory modification. God damn it, he fucking knew it. Anger amassed and seethed low in his stomach, fueled by the sudden assault of Kurama's rage and memories under Madara's thrall, barely tempered by the implied not brainwashing or some shit. No. A head shake, definite, reassuring. It would have raised a big red flag when I went in. That kind of mistampering doesn't fade. It has to be sustained, you know? Adult minds aren't as easy to reprogram as children's because they're already developed. If you don't strengthen it every few months, they start to fight back and revert to their original personality. As nauseating as that was to hear, it loosened something in Naruto's gut, calmed Kurama's rage down to the ever-present, simmering resentment. I see. What's complicated then? You do have a theory, right? I think. Xiaomao hummed, brought the ashtray closer and flicked the ash off his cigarette, his words slow and measured. It might be subliminal stimuli. Whatever happened must have affected her so deeply that even if it was erased from her memory, it still left mental scars. But since she can't remember what it was. He shrugged, but the message was loud and clear. Naruto nodded, picking up from where the man left off. It messed her up. Now she's conditioned to ignore anything that might be alarming or dangerous or inexplicable cause there's this little voice in her head saying everything's fine, you're fine, nobody's gonna hurt you, nothing's wrong here. Xiaomao's smile was a grim confirmation. Biting off a curse, Naruto stole one of his cigarettes. It was that or alcohol, and if he started drinking he might not stop until he was buzzed enough to mindlessly destroy half the town. Who the fuck had hurt her so bad that Imitsu had to mind fuck it out of her? He was half hoping whoever it was yet lived, just so he could rip out their heart and feed it to them raw, claw out their stomach and choke them with their own intestines. Kurama, please. Just not now. The fox went quiet, but his thoughts scraped against the walls of Naruto's mind, red as blood, dark as murder. Naruto breathed in the smoke, breathed out the aggression. Can it be undone? The memory fuck up? No, it's too late for that, and I wouldn't suggest it even if it could be done. A sigh gusted out of his lungs. Heavy, tired, as if he had been asked this question too many times, but it never got easier to give this line when they looked him in the eye and waited for something different. They aren't repressed memories, they're just gone. The shadow's still there, yes, but the body's missing. He saw red, then black, then all-consuming, burning fury. So what do you suggest? I can't leave her like that. I can't protect her from herself. She's like a walking, talking victim, for fuck's sake. Just a lamb led to the slaughter. When Naruto snarled, cigarette crushed and sizzling inside his fist, Xiaomao gripped his wrist tight, kept him in place with soft but meaningless words, and something bit him. Even in his blinding fury, he had seen it coming, could have stopped it, but he trusted Xiaomao, trusted him to. Calm washed over him, rationality. The fog lifted from his eyes. Naruto blinked, put his head between his hands and focused on just breathing. Xiaomao sighed as if he had also seen this too many times, but carried on as if it hadn't happened, and for that, Naruto was grateful. Well, we could treat it like Alzheimer's. I mean, the symptoms match: memory loss, decreased or poor judgment, problems with thinking and reasoning. It could work, for all you know, and if we don't see an improvement, we can try standard trauma-focused cognitive behavioral therapy, though without knowing what caused the trauma. Again he trailed off, and again Naruto voiced his line of thought, like there had never been a moment where he fucking lost it. Assassination attempt? Hostage situation with short-term torture? Sexual assault? Wary brown eyes met his, judging his state of mind, then Xiaomao carefully said, "It could be anything, but you're asking the wrong person." Naruto chuckled, a cracked, bitter sound. And it all comes back to Imitsu. He couldn't care less about the shitty seal, the lies, the idiocy, the absence, but this? Why is it always instant fire chakra fuckery with him? How hard could it have been to just take her to a goddamn doctor? He's mafia. There was understanding in those brown eyes, but also acceptance, matter of fact, and this is life for us, and it is what it is. We never do things the normal way. Naruto knew that, had known it longer than Xiaomao had lived. He had never accepted it, still couldn't accept it. Bullshit. It goes beyond that, Eroasan. If you don't like how it is, then you change it. Xiaomao gazed at him, hearing what went unspoken, smiling and wanting to believe him. True. That's why I followed you, his gaze seemed to say, as warm as it was jaded, but not even you can change the past. But have you wondered if maybe she was the one who begged him to take the pain away? And to that, Naruto had no answer, only a groan of misery. This is giving me a headache. Maybe he should have gone with alcohol. To drown out his impotent rage against the demons in his mother's past, Naruto dove headfirst into Project Assemble Team D, training Team C, and planning the Chunin exams for Teams A and B. It was going well, too, until one fine Sunday morning, Mukuro woke up, came down for breakfast, and declared he wanted his eggs sunny side up and to adopt a little girl because her miss called to mind. I can't ignore her after that, now can I? Please pass me the raspberry jam. Well, look at you. At the tender age of 11 and ready to be a daddy. Good for you, Kuro-chan. Naruto passed the little shit's jam to baby Kabuto and made him an omelet instead. He had learned from the Narutofu incident that passive-aggressive bullshit got under people's skin better than anything if kept up long enough. Baby Kabuto smirked and dug in with gusto, all shining glasses and schadenfreude, while Mukuro's innocent smile turned to stone. It became worse when Naruto caved. Because he was a bleeding heart and a sucker for lonely kids, that little shit cackled, and met the girl. Or, to be more precise, the girl's so-called family. Not that they knew he met them. Naruto leaned his back against the wall and stared at the meek girl sitting on the edge of the bed inside baby Kabuto's state-of-the-art infirmary. Xiaomao had given her a routine checkup, proclaimed her malnourished but otherwise healthy, and skipped out of the room with a grin that foretold groping hands and slaps to the face and kicks to the nuts. His mouth curved into a gentle smile that she tentatively returned. So far, so good. Nagi-chan, he began, but faltered when she flinched. At what? The mere sound of her name. Damn, just what had those bastards done to this poor girl's self-esteem? Inhaling through his nose, he put a lid on his temper and soldiered on. I don't usually do this, but you're a special case. And he proceeded to tell her everything. Because he might not know how to deal with abused little girls, but he was 100% certain the last thing she needed was pretty lies and hollow promises. Nagi listened to his voice with that nervous meekness sticking to her skin and wonder in her eyes, but never once did she interrupt or doubt him. After all had been laid bare, the good, the ugly, the strange and the stranger, Naruto sought her eyes and didn't let her hide beneath her bangs. The question is, what do you want? Why? It started as a whisper, trembling and confused and near inaudible. She swallowed once, twice, tried again. I mean, I understood what you said about fire chakra? Or was it flames? He shrugged. Whatever you want to call it, it's all the same. Nagi nodded, gaining confidence and volume from his laid-back posture. And the Mafia people and your famiglia? Another shrug, another nod. But why? Why do you care? Why do you want me? Why me? Naruto heard all that and more. Endless whys and self-deprecation, the cries of a girl who had given up on the world because the world had given up on her first. Because you're a kid, he said to that lost little girl. A good girl who got dealt a bad hand in life. It wasn't your fault, but you can't change things by yourself because you're just a kid. You deserve a chance to live, Nagi-chan. To love and be loved, be happy and free, whatever you want to be. Her eyes had grown so large that they almost swallowed half her face. Was it really so hard for her to believe that? It tugged at his heartstrings, damn it. Naruto sighed, a crooked, rueful smile on his lips. And you remind me of someone I once knew. Nagi looked as if she wanted to ask who, but was too shy, too used to staying silent and invisible because questions and attention brought nothing but trouble. Breaking her out of that habit would take time and patience, and Naruto really wanted to beat the crap out of her family. Oh, Kuro-chan! Shit. She almost jumped out of her skin. Again. Right, indoor voice, copy that, keep Ryohei away for now. Stop eavesdropping and come over here. Mukuro slithered into the room with no shame and the languorous danger of a python. That brat, so damn uncute, so getting boiled eggs tomorrow. Link me with Nagi-chan for a bit, will ya? You can even stay to watch. Or no, you know what? This reminds me, I've been meaning to show you some stuff but kept forgetting. Now's a good time as any to do this. Intrigue darkened those mismatched eyes, lessened the contrast, amplified the danger. For Mukuro, that was. Kurama wanted to eat the fake Rinnegan eyeball. A labyrinth of pipes manifested when they were drawn inside his mindscape. Naruto drop-kicked Mukuro into the pipe that contained the memories he had selected for the brat and ushered Nagi towards their own pipe. Whatever the girl had expected would greet her, Naruto couldn't guess at, but her expression of unadulterated shock screamed it wasn't the Dangoya, Konoha's famous dango shop, and its even more famous best customer, Mitarashi Anko. Moving slowly so as not to startle her further, Naruto wrapped an arm around her shoulders and pointed her in Anko's direction. Nagi blinked her large eyes, tilted her head and drank in the woman's "I'm the head bitch here bitches, come to mama dango" attitude. See that woman in the trench coat, the sexy dango maniac? And ooh, was that a giggle? Hell yeah, it was. Success. Taking the empty bench opposite from Anko, Naruto pulled the girl up and onto his lap and let her study Anko's superhuman dango-eating speed as he talked. It was truly a sight to see, among the 7 wonders of Konoha. Naruto was damn proud his ramen-eating capacity was another. Nobody had ever beaten his Ichiraku record of 68 bowls under 1 hour, and boy, had good old Choji tried. On a lesser note, the Forest of Death came last on the list and Hatake Kakashi's unmasked face topped it. She was just like you once, a good kid, a nice girl betrayed by the man she trusted most in the world, used and discarded by the one person who was supposed to teach and nurture and support her. She loved him, idolized him, took his word as gospel. She gave him everything, but she still wasn't enough for him. Nagi's head slanted far back until she was peeking up at him through thick lashes, disbelieving but desperately wishing to believe, because if this woman had once been like her, maybe, just maybe, there was hope for her too. Naruto was all for giving her that hope. But look at her. Can you guess what she did? A timid denial fell from Nagi's lips. Naruto paused for dramatic effect, the moment charged with anticipation, the suspense skyrocketing, Nagi's heartbeat accelerating, competing with Anko's dango-eating pace. Then, she walked away. A gasp echoed. Nagi's jaw slackened. She sucked in a sharp breath, eyes on Anko again, pupils blown and bones grinding in her neck at the too fast motion, trailing over the dips and angles of Anko's face, as if she wanted to etch the shape of that face into her memory, what winning against the world looked like. She made the choice to leave him, to put all that crap behind her, then she picked up the pieces, picked her own family and friends and comrades, took her life into her own hands and worked her ass off to become so badass, nobody dared talk shit about her. She was one of the best interrogators and infiltration specialists I've ever known, and one damn scary bitch when you stole her dango. Naruto leaned his head down, a light brush of lips and breath against her ear, anchoring the girl in his arms, and said with warm remembrance, the will of fire ringing through his words, All because Sarutobi gave her a chance to be herself and prove she could become whatever she wanted. Silence enveloped them. Nagi burrowed into his arms, thin fingers squeezing his forearm, as they watched Enko demolish her 35th dango stick, as Makuro stealthily joined them on the bench, a little closer than the brat's usual comfort zone, leeching off their heat and feelings. An eternity passed, then Nagi's voice filled the silence, quiet but alive, vivid with color and the bright hope of the newborn. What was her name? Enko. Do you think she would mind if? I don't want to be Nagi anymore. I think she'd be hella flattered and proud of you, Enko-chan. I know I am. Mini Enko pressed her face against his forearm, imprinting her first happy smile onto his skin. Makuro drew a little closer, and no matter how innocent his smile was, Naruto knew the brat was shaken, disturbed, disgusted. The face of his playthings after he was bored with breaking them. So Naruto glomped him. That brat, uncute as he was, put up a token struggle, but tellingly no eldritch abominations came to his rescue. Same goes for you, Kuro-chan. You can do whatever you want to do, be whoever you want to be. I don't care if you like to play mind games or ruin the lives of assholes everywhere or paint your walls red with the filthy blood of mafia scum. I only care about one thing. A red eye peered at him from inside the cage of Naruto's arm. Never become that man. I would never. A low snake hiss, dripping with venom and revulsion, then right on cue, creepy murder laughter. His fashion sense was terrible. Naruto mussed his hair and tried to smother him, but Mini Enko giggled at that lame joke, so he didn't try too hard. Seriously though, was the brat kidding or going blind? His fashion sense was just as weird-ass as Orochimaru's. When Mini Enko came to practice 2 days later, arm in arm with her new best friends, Kyoko and Hana, smiling with all her teeth and wearing a leather trench coat, purple hair tied up in a short, spiky ponytail and bento full of dango, Naruto winked at her and excused himself to go die laughing up a tree. He was pretty sure Enko must be laughing up there, too. Practice didn't work out as planned, because Makuro, the uncute little shit, wanted Mini Enko on Team C, and Hayato was gracious enough to allow it. He was kind of scared of Mini Enko and the way she twirled her dango sticks to fight for her. With good reason. Naruto made sure the first thing he taught her was how to coat them with chakra and poison, and where to stick them for maximum pain and humiliation. It was for the best, though. Mini Enko was the catalyst for change in the rivalry between Kyoya and Makuro. While the girls got on like a house on fire and had fun with 2-on-2 battles, the boys went from back off she's mine territorial bullshit to mine's better than yours dick contests. Naruto wasn't sure if they were now gonna be a fucked up love quartet or double dating or what. Another plus was that Kyoya got fired up and took it upon himself to scour Namamori for Team D potential recruits. If Makuro could do it in his sleep, then by the gods, Kyoya wouldn't sleep until he one-upped him. And because he was Hibari I motherfucking rule Namamori Kyoya, he found them in record time. Yellow. Kyoya reported in mission mode as he flung a trussed-up and gagged redhead with rectangular glasses down on the ground. Naruto sighed and pinched the bridge of his nose. When Kyoya displayed no remorse for the rough treatment, he dismissed the little hellion and bent down to cut off the rope binding the poor boy's wrists and ankles. Really, Kyo-chan? Tying up and gagging him was the best you could do? You're slipping, brat. You could have just knocked him out and spared me the hysterics. What's going on? Who are you people? Are you some kind of juvenile yakuza? Oh gods, you are, aren't you? What do you want with me? Is it my organs? No, my brain makes more sense, but how did you know about my secret hack? Yeah, Naruto fucking called it. Kid. Wow. The kid mercifully paused in the middle of his full-blown hysteria to gaze up at him with fearful eyes. Sheepish, but still scared out of his wits, he croaked. Yes? Brow arched dryly. Naruto gestured over to the girls' picnic. Do we look like we are in the business of kidnapping random children off the streets and selling them to the highest bidder? Blinking rapidly, the kid observed the girls and stuttered out. No. Only to fold in on himself, clutching at his abdomen as if he had suddenly come down with appendicitis. Sorry. I didn't mean to accuse you of trafficking or anything. Gods, no, my stomach hurts. And well, he could work with that. Probably. Also, the kid reminded him of Omoy, and that dude was hilarious, so. Kid. Yeez? You have issues. I know. I can help you. How? Naruto grinned. It was neither nice nor comforting. The kid fainted. or his appendix ruptured. It was kind of hard to tell the difference. Purple. Kyoya reported in mission mode as he sauntered into the training ground while carrying a blushing and talking a mile-a-minute brunette in a fairy costume. Bridal style. Heh. That little comment about slipping standards worked like a charm. Naruto gave him a thumbs up when he gently let her down. Hahi. Haru got stolen by a pretty boy. Is he Haru's Prince Charming? Haru thinks he's a little too violent to be the shining prince in her fairy tale. But, oh, Haru gets it. He's the dragon, all fire and claws and teeth and rawr. Kyoya actually nodded. Hell, that little beast was preening as if she had paid him the greatest compliment. Haru knew it. Fairy girl gave the boy a sage nod, gaze darting around, searching the training area and scrutinizing its scant occupants. Only Hayato and Naruto were present at the time. But then where's the There's another pretty boy. That luscious silver hair, those gorgeous green eyes. Yes, he can be Haru's Prince Charming. Like hell I will. You're delusional, you stupid woman. Naturally, Hayato exploded, but Fairy Girl didn't miss a step. Hahi. Who are you calling stupid, you pretty boy villain? Naruto grinned, tousling Kyoya's hair. Good job, Kyo-chan. 20 minutes later, once the whole group had arrived, he shouted. Teams A and B. They gathered like bees to honey. A little off to the side, Hayato and Fairy Girl were still bickering like an old married couple. One by one, he eyed them and smiled at their cute please say the time has come sensei faces, finally announcing. The Chunin exams will take place in 2 weeks as promised. Prepare yourselves and make me proud. We will not disappoint you, sensei. Kyoya, who had yet to cease preening, smirked a cat-ate-the-canary smirk and sauntered off. Come, Kyoko Takashi. We will train in my clan's dojo. That man is visiting. Least he can do is make himself useful for once. Coming, Kyoya-kun. Flouncing off after her other half, Kyoko kept waving at Naruto, Genjutsu smile on full blast. We'll do our best, Naruto-sensei. Fonsan's here? Grinning like a loon, but eyes sharp with deadly focus, Takashi sprinted off after them. This'll be so much fun then. I can't wait. Thank you for the opportunity, sensei. We will put forth our greatest effort. Tetsuya, the kami-given gift, bowed his head, respectful and polite as ever, then offered his arm to Hana like a little gentleman and off they waltzed into the sunset. In that case, we should ask Shamo-san and Verde-san to train us. Hana, your opinion? Agreed, Tetsu. Led on. Hana didn't even give Naruto a backwards glance, hanging off Tetsuya's arm as they walked away like something out of Regency novels. Finally. No more D-ranks. Ugh, children. To be fair though, they didn't give Ryohei the time of day either. Extreme. Bring it on. Hey, wait for me, team. Naruto laughed. Chunin exams, HM? Should be interesting. Hayato and Fairy Girl didn't even notice when everyone left. That was one hell of a petty marital spat. Chapter 17. Naruto was beginning to recognize a pattern, nay, a tradition. It had started with Kyoko dragging Hana to practice that fated day 5 years ago, continued with Kyoya copying his better half by bringing Tetsuya into the fold, and so on and so forth. But more importantly, it had yet to stop. It will never stop, his super intuition euphorically crooned as Naruto stood beside a mountain of a man. Call me Poppy, M-boy, jovial as hell and British accent thick and skin weather-worn, beholding the spectacle that was Shoichi clinging to a corn-haired, green-eyed boy like a baby koala, crippling stomachaches and strawberry lollipops and technobabble galore. The boy's name was something posh and suitably British, but call me Spanner, Konoha, which, wow, that drawl of sweet apathy would have made him an honorary Nara on the spot, and he had allegedly come for emotional support after a distressed Shoichi bewailed his loss of normalcy over the internet. Poppy, the boy's grandfather, was retired Captain Charles Royston of the Royal Navy, an old hand at chasing adventure and a religious believer in the sea creed, go where the wind blows. Also, in full support of his grandson following in his steps and embarking on his own adventure with an impromptu journey to the land of the rising sun, Naruto threw his hands up in the air, added Spanner to Team D, for damn smart pains in the ass, opened Shamo's finest bourbon, which Poppy was very grateful to partake in before he departed with promises of regular communication, and called it a fucking day. Dumping the science brats on a half-cherry, half-charmed baby Kabuto, he left the mansion to visit Fawn, assuming being around the undisputed champion of keep calm and burn things to ashes would do wonders for his nerves. It turned out to be the wrong assumption. Naruto had forgotten Fan was also the master of holding grudges like nobody's business and hitting you hard when you were already down. That damn poker face was hella misleading even when you knew what hid underneath. With that eloquent greeting and 1 foot inside the drawing room, Naruto stilled. Speechless, he stared, kept staring at the pile of fluffy, lotus-patterned blankets arranged on the tatami floor, at the baby girl sucking on her thumb, at Fan leisurely sipping his ginger tea. Congratulations? Fan lowered his teacup, caught his stare and smiled. Like, whoever told you you're hilarious was a first-class moron, and I'm too disciplined to point it out, and you'll have to try harder than that, smiled. Thank you? Huh. It was so on. You've got guts, bro. I like it. Naruto finally lifted his dead foot, striding inside with a swagger and a cocky grin, crouching down to tickle the baby's tummy. Good thing she didn't have ears, strange, but he'd seen weirder, like Sasuke sprouting winged hand thingies, because what he said next would have scarred her for life if she was capable of hearing. Or more like comprehension. Must have been damn kinky, you lucky bastard. 'Cause you know they all say size doesn't matter, but they never mean it. So where's the proud mother? I'd like to meet this woman of rare honesty. Fan's smile was a cool, sharp challenge. Your remarkable ability to deliberately misconstrue the situation according to your sense of humor has not changed in the slightest, I see. Truly, you are a man of rare talent. Too true. You know what else I am? Cooing at the baby's gurgling laughter and spit bubbles, Naruto gave her one last tickle, then moved to the cushion laid for his use, pouring himself a cup of ginger tea. Kinda sweet, not bad. His amusement had all but disintegrated as he sighed and met Fan's waiting eyes, boldly daring him to bullshit his way out of this. A man of rare intuition, so stop deflecting and spill. Who would leave a baby with you? If Fan was chagrined, it didn't show, but knowing the man, he was probably blaming himself deep down, somehow, someway, because that was what Fan did. Got cursed with a chakra-sucking abomination? His fault for not seeing through the deceit. Kyoya was an out-of-control little monster? His fault for not being a better instructor. Naruto would eat Kurama's tails if this baby didn't have a sob story that'd make Zabuza cry tears of blood. Holy shit, you pulled a Zabuza, didn't you? The baby is your Haku. Her parents are deceased. She does have 3 surviving relatives on her father's side, but they are civilians. Normally, they would have been contacted, and if they had refused to take her in, she would have been put up for adoption, but her mother's bloodline is special. If I hadn't insisted on taking her as my apprentice, she would have been sent to the Red Dragon. A pause, laden and dipped in red. Even then, it wasn't easy to convince them she would be better trained under my care, but that place is not suitable for children younger than 12 at the very least. Despite Fan's damn poker face, the soothing quality of his tone, the way he gazed at him with unapologetic veracity, there were too many pauses for Naruto's comfort. The one subsequent to Red Dragon was the longest, the most telling and incriminating. Fire and blood and all things red. So, basically, Naruto held his cup with one hand, dug the nails of his other hand into his thigh, clay cracking and skin bruising under his grip. She has a near-extinct bloodline limit. Greedy bastards want to exploit an orphan baby. You did something stupidly heroic, and that Red Dragon place isn't suitable for children, period. His voice cut Fan with the same intensity. Gravelly, an undercurrent of violence running through his words. You know this from personal experience. A shrug was all Fan gave in response, although too smooth, too refined to be called a shrug. Naruto wanted to smack him silly for being so goddamn obstinate, and for making it seem noble instead of the moronic gesture it was. What did you promise them? When will you fucking have enough, you self-sacrificing bastard? You're reaching Kakashi-sensei's levels of stupid guilt complex. Fan hummed softly, as if what he was about to say would bear no consequence, wouldn't screw up his life 6 ways from Sunday. Which, Naruto bet it would. It was a sucker bet too, not even Granny Tsunade would have taken those odds. My 20-year contract with the Triads expires in 2 months. I simply promise to renew it. Simply my ass? Scoffing, gaze narrow, Naruto glared at him. You don't want to renew it, do you? Another soft hum. I wouldn't have minded before. Progress, finally? Naruto tilted his head and relaxed his body, coaxing with his voice, no longer cutting. What changed? For the first time, Fan smiled a true smile, a bittersweet thing, torn at the edges. You taught Kyoya how to be a protector instead of a berserker, you decided to become actively involved in the mafia. Your famiglia is your family, and your chakra likes my chakra. Naruto went rigid. Of all the stupid truths he'd given him today, all the stupid reasons and deflections and excuses, this had got to be the stupidest, and oh, you magnificent bastard. You don't do things halfway, do you? What he said, he meant. He ripped truth from his tongue, gave it bladed shape, stabbed him with it, brutally. Naruto felt fire on his tongue, in his veins, under his skin, rolled it up, rolled it down, swallowed it whole until there was only heat and the aftertaste of acceptance. A full-body twitch. His orange remembered, but fuck that needy bullshit. Naruto had other shit to deal with here, like, you're never gonna let me live that down, yeah? When Fon's smile didn't budge an inch, exasperation localized Naruto's twitch to his lips and eyelids. Gingerly, he picked up his cracked cup, gazing down at his reflection. Said nothing. Gave nothing, because what could he? Alright. God damn it. I said it. No take-backs now, and now, Fon went rigid. I'm sorry, alright, what? Playing dance? Awesome poker face he might have, but Fon couldn't do dance if he tried. Naruto snorted. To quote Kuro-chan, I can't ignore you after that, now can I? Fon's face was a study in contrasts, like a storm in clear skies, like a natural disaster. From tranquil to agitated to tempestuous. I didn't tell you because I expected, oh, trust me, I know. You're the stupidly heroic type, not the evilly conniving. You cannot fight? Please don't insult me. Nevertheless, nothing. Fon's face cycled through emotions in reverse. From tempestuous to agitated to tranquil. Which was more terrifying in that order. Still waters ran deep and the eye of the storm and all that shit personified. Absolute fucking stillness. Then, may I speak? Naruto hemmed and hawed as he casually examined his nails. They could use a good clipping. Depends. Are you gonna say anything I dunno, witty? 'Cause all I hear so far are lame excuses. And lo and behold, Fon raised his arm, pressing red fabric against the lower half of his face, as if that would conceal anything. Please do forgive me. We cannot all be as articulate when we are engaging in friendly conversation. Perhaps if you allowed people to speak freely and frequently, you would have more fulfilling conversations with your peers. There it was, in the nuances of his voice, that smooth as silk inflection. Grudge-born mockery, petty and sweet as molasses. Fon wouldn't bat a lash 99.99% of the time, especially at unoriginal, common insults, but a lack of wit? He took that shit seriously, and never forgot or forgave. It was a Hibari clan quirk, the inborn ability to hold grudges like no tomorrow. While Kyoya was the ill-bite-you-to-death you weak herbivore, Fon was the ill-mock-you-to-death you uncivilized Neanderthal. Naruto beamed, all sunshine and stretched cheeks and godliness. You are excused. A rustle of red fabric. Fon resumed the topic of their conversation, but Naruto acknowledged that rustle as an omen of bad things to come, an ostentatious declaration. Right on, bro. As far as he was concerned, it had been on since his first step inside the drawing room. The triads would have been displeased if I didn't renew my contract, but they would have accepted it in the end due to my arcobaleno status. They are well aware no sky they currently possess can hold me, so it is worthless to even try. Ipin is another matter, though. Both gazed at the snoozing baby wrapped in the cocoon of blankets with warm eyes. Cute earless midget. Naruto was the first to turn away and shrug. Her ties to the triads died with her parents. They have no legal hold on her. We are mafia. Slowly enunciated, coldly pragmatic, and questioning Naruto's intelligence. Exactly. Grin wide and borderline sociopathic, Naruto inclined his head in total agreement. We have mafia law. Nonplussed, Fon stared at him as if this was the start of a joke and he was waiting for the punchline. When it never came. You mean the Vind Ice. And boy did he sound perturbed by the unlikely choice of saviors. Baby Chief and Undead Company were so underappreciated. No wonder they had gone postal on the mafia. Yep. Naruto's grin made the transition to full-fledged sociopathy as he dropped the bomb. We're revenge buddies. They're invited for tea parties and everything. Fon just stared with a momentary brain freeze, then a sort of slow-spreading horror, a dilation of his pupils. What? Man, this was pure gold. Baby Chief would get the good china and chocolate chip cookies when he showed up for that tea party, and there would be lots and lots of pictures if the mere idea elicited that sort of reaction. Nope, not my story to tell. What matters is that I know how to call them, and with their recent rise in motivation, which I am now certain you know nothing about and had nothing to do with, bingo. Naruto reinforced his point with a tongue click, complete with a wink and finger pistol shot. So you see, nothing to worry about. Fawn blinked in recognition of that combo. One of Arya's favorites, that woman was the queen of winks. Still, he appeared to have trouble digesting both wink combo and vote the Vindus for Godfather's campaign. The triads will be more than a little displeased. Fawn. Yes? Shut the fuck up and go feed your kid. Because she was wide awake and mighty hungry if the loud cries in between thumbsucking were any indication. Fawn shut up and did. Draining his tea, Naruto reached out an arm and tickled the fussing little lady, then got up to leave just as Fawn returned with 2 bottles of warm milk. The same way he had entered, with a swagger and a cocky grin, pausing at the shoji door to deliver a killer one-liner and a blast of orange fire chakra. Oh, by the way, you're proctoring the second phase of the Chunin exams. Welcome to Konoha, where the will of fire burns eternal, and the next generation is the king we fight for. I have said it before, and I will say it again. Fawn, in turn, blasted him with his unique fusion of calm deadpan and red fire chakra. You are a terrible person. A firestorm of orange and red blazed. Naruto encapsulated this touching event in one sentence. But your chakra likes my chakra. A baby bottle came hurtling towards the back of his head as he danced away laughing. Poor baby girl. She'd starved to death with that kind of father. The first stage is what? Shamal slammed both hands against the surveillance console with no regard for baby Kabuto's hard work. It had taken the science baby 3 days to set up the cameras and lasers and passwords and other electronic shit in the building Naruto had borrowed from the Momokyokai Yakuza to serve as the venue for the first stage of the Chunin exams. On top of that, Naruto and Fawn had filled it to the brim with a combination of ninja and mafia traps. The pervert was the last to join the party, which was ironic since he had the most important part to play. It wasn't Naruto's fault the man had skipped out on the first briefing to hook up with some random chick he met in a bar last Tuesday. Swiveling in his awesome neon orange leather chair, Naruto grabbed a beer from the minibar. Thank you, baby Kabuto, you rock, and grinned as he patiently explained once more for the slowpoke among them. Infiltration, interrogation resistance, target extraction, and intel gathering. Thank you for volunteering to be the enemy scum who likes to hurt little girls, Eroasan. Your participation is greatly appreciated. Next to him, in his own awesome neon red leather chair, Fawn dipped his head in gratitude for the pervert's tacit agreement. Shamal didn't look appreciative of either Naruto's kind reiteration or Fawn's polite gesture. I don't think I need to advise you not to physically harm the girls. Stick to intimidation tactics and mind games. No psychoactive drugs either. Remember to stay in character and try not to spill the beans too soon when the boys infiltrate the secret base and your positions become reversed. Rifling through the file cabinet, he selected the relevant files and all but taped them to Shamal's chest with a clever application of chakra. Here's the intel they're supposed to extract after they capture you and free their allies, and here's what you need to get out of the girls. You have 2 whole hours to prep before we kidnap the girls and get this show on the road. In the middle of a fight with inanimate papers, Shamal was muttering angrily. And losing badly. I call foul play. I have doctor rights, dammit. This is in direct violation of the Third Geneva Convention. Ignoring him and that sad, pitiful fight, Naruto tapped a finger against his chin. What am I forgetting? Something about the parameters? Oh, right. The kids have no restrictions on what interrogation means they may use, so gods be with you. Cheerfully, Naruto patted the pervert on the back, while Fawn dipped his head again. Good luck. You are a brave man, Shamal. Shamal snarled, nearly biting off Naruto's thumb with his teeth, clutching the papers he just liberated from his chest. You will regret this, Volpe. I don't know how, I don't know when, I don't know where, but mark my words. You're a dead man walking. He then snapped his teeth at Fawn. You too, Fawn. I just know your nephew's gonna do something unspeakable to me. Unruffled, Fawn smiled his signature zero fucks given smile. Genealogically speaking, he is my great-nephew. Big difference. Shamal spat, storming off and slamming the door shut. Fawn's smile now seemed to say what a drama queen. Naruto laughed, raising his beer. 4 hours later, they learned exactly how right that character assessment was. Not the face, ladies love my rugged good looks. Wait, please no. Oh gods. The face. Ouch. Kyo-chan is kinda pissed, huh? Good thing Eroasen never wanted kids. Indeed. He may no longer be capable of procreation. This is wrong, so wrong. But so good. Gods, I'm going straight to hell. Why are you doing this to me? The supplementary strip show illusion was a nice touch. Was that Arya in a Catwoman bodysuit? Yeah, Kyoko-chan really outdid herself there. The whip action was a work of art. I doubt Eroasen can enjoy a strip show the way he used to ever again. You live and learn. Cheer up, Eroasen. The hard part is over. Team B can't be worse than that. Here, have some liquid courage. I even bought the expensive shit for you. Am I nice or what? Evil, you're pure evil. Like your little demon brats. Would you like some ice with that, Xiao Mao? Your nephew almost castrated me with a goddamn spiked chain. Go fuck yourself, Fan. Genealogically. And fuck your whole genealogy. What are you going to do with that? Holy mother of... No! Get that thing away from me. Go away. Heh. Looks like Hana-chan's decided what animal box weapon she wants once we figure out how to make him. I would have never imagined she could be so ruthless. It's the quiet ones you gotta watch out for. But still, mongoose? Don't diss the mongoose, man. They eat cobras for breakfast. Where did she even find one? That is a good question. That's an interesting medical procedure. Who taught you how to? Wait, why are you targeting the blood vessels? That's not how it's supposed to work. That boy may be a powerful son, but the healing arts are beyond him. Why do you persist in teaching him medical techniques alongside his sister? In my defense, Ryo-chan's an excellent self-healer, but that's cause he's got an intrinsic understanding of where things are in his body. It's just that he's crap when it comes to bodies other than his own. You gotta study something if you want to know how it works, and nobody's crazy enough to volunteer to be his patient dummy. Cadavers just don't cut it for him. That is understandable, I guess. Teams A and B were gathered in a circle around Naruto and Fawn in the surveillance room, each brat nibbling on a victory sandwich after having raided the fridge. Xiao Mao had been carried off to the infirmary by one of Naruto's clones half an hour ago. Pity he couldn't be here to announce the news himself after his significant contribution to the first stage. They couldn't have done it without him, but they'd draw him a get-well-by-the-way thanks card or something. Clapping his hands together, Naruto smiled, wiping away imaginary tears. Fawn and I are proud to announce both teams will be progressing to the second stage of the Chunin exams. You did awesome, brats. Indeed. Congratulations are in order. Fawn, too, smiled, an iota of lethal calm slipping through his smile. Do not expect the second stage to be as unchallenging. The team's chosen leaders couldn't have been any more poignant in how they expressed their happiness and determination to succeed while their teammates cheered from the sidelines. Kyoya grunted. The day you devise an adequate exam will be the day I acknowledge our exact relation. Hana huffed. Don't underestimate us. We bite. Like a mongoose. Chapter 18. The last thing Naruto expected to happen one day before the second phase of the Chunin exams was scheduled to take place was Baby Chief invading Baby Kabuto's opulent living room. Be Bermuda-san! Naruto barely caught himself in time to avoid a major faux pas. Phew, so glad Baby Chief's name starts with B. To disguise his almost slip of the tongue, he put on a sunny smile and resorted to buttering him up like it was going out of style. Damn, your response time keeps getting better and better. Like, seriously, I was just thinking of calling you one of these days, then bam. Here you are, just like that. Gotta hand it to you, man, your work ethic's pretty damn impressive lately. Nice. Kurama made a retching noise. Stop praising these unnatural things. It's disgusting. They should all burn in the fiery pits of hell with Madara. Give it a rest, Kurama. I let you have your fun, remember? It's my turn now, so suck it up and shut up. I'm trying to network here. Naruto's cheeks were starting to hurt, but he kept smiling through the pain, the awkwardness, Kurama's dry heaving, and Baby Chief's silent judgment. After an indeterminate amount of time, his facial muscles had grown kind of numb. Baby Chief decided to put him out of his misery. Sawada Tsunayoshi. Syllables elongated, slightly accented and excruciatingly scathing, and whoa, so fucking cold it damn near gave him frostbite. Well shit. Mission failed, abort. Why you gotta be so cold, Baby Chief? Just cause you're sorta dead doesn't mean you can't have friends. Can we maybe skip the whole name thing and just go with Naruto? Scratching the back of his head, Naruto laughed, and it was just as painful as his smile. His throat really didn't thank him for it. "That's my nickname, you know, for friends and family and people I like and yeah." A helpless, desperate shrug, and ouch, back to silent judgment it was. Naruto sighed and escaped to the kitchen, loading a tray with cups and cookies and tea stuff, because awkward as fuck or not, they were going to have a goddamn tea party even if it killed him. Also, discreetly activated the hidden cameras. No way was he missing this golden opportunity to gather primo prank material. When he had arranged it all to his satisfaction, Baby Chief appraised the delicious spread and the beautiful blue vintage china set with a detail-oriented eye. Or so Naruto assumed. With all those bandages and I will not rest revenge streak and death becomes him pheromones, Baby Chief was a horror movie buff's wet dream, like undead royalty or something. Zombies and mummies and spooks everywhere would totally go crazy over him. The holy curse of the Uchiha Oso pretty genes surpasses death and inconsequential things like flesh. Kurama cackled, and how the hell had Naruto forgotten about that? Holy shit, you're right, which reminded him, you'd better start enhancing my body soon. I will not suffer Sasuke's fate. For all Naruto knew, he could have also been admiring the superb carpentry. That table was mahogany and one exquisite piece of craftsmanship. Baby Kabuto, the filthy rich savant, had really spared no expense. A minimal slant of his head. "You are too alike Jado." Blindsided, Naruto blinked. That came out of nowhere. Also, why did it sound like a verdict? Was it a compliment, or an insult, or what? Whatever. At least it was a conversation starter. Tea party for the win. Still, he couldn't not ask. "And that's a bad thing?" The pat of a bandaged finger then. Baby Chief dragged his fingernail over the rim of his teacup in one languorous graze. As if it had been ages since he had touched one, since he had been welcomed inside a home and served a simple cup of tea. As if he had forgotten the texture of porcelain. Could he even feel it now? And goddammit, Baby Chief, that's just awful. Don't do shit like that if you don't want people to fucking notice. Now I can't unsee it. Retracting his finger, Baby Chief drew his cloak around himself, with the bearing of old world nobility. The kind of effortless class that would have had the Hyuga clan throwing their daughters at him, living status notwithstanding. For a split second, the shadow behind him lengthened and stretched, shimmering like fog, like a ghost of the past. Too short or too young, too old regardless. Perhaps, was all he said. Ambiguous as could be, but if Naruto autopsied that Germanic intonation, there was a shard of cold mirth beneath layers of dead tissue. He wanted to cut deeper, dig his hands in and dig out the person who used to live there. Before that horrible curse, before that asshole came and ruined him. Baby Chief wouldn't appreciate being cut open, though. It was too early, too soon to try reaching for that person. Naruto would try later, because unlike the living killer babies, the dead wouldn't get to live even if the curse was lifted. Someone had to give them a semblance of life. "My heart bleeds for you." "Sympathy, thy name was Kurama." "You have a heart?" The fox growled, shutting his mouth, because that was a trick question and he hated their type. "Don't dish it out if you can't take it." Naruto relished the spasm in Kurama's jaw, then focused his attention on Baby Chief who was checking out the decor? Like trying to ascertain if the main art piece was an original. It so was, Van Gogh or, nope, not going there again. "So I know why I was gonna call you, but did you elaborate?" Cutting straight to the chase, huh? "Okay then, yeah, sure, I'll go first." Rolling with it, Naruto recounted the tale of Fawn's induction into the Brotherhood of Underage, but really overage fathers, emphasizing the triad's assholery while hinting at the delights of godfatherhood. The air became colder, the shadows thicker. An echo of rattling chains overlapped Baby Chief's voice as he crisply said, "The triads overstepped their bounds. We have issued prior warnings against such crude ambitions. Where is the child?" Hook, line, and sinker. Naruto bit the inside of his cheeks to hold back from smirking in victory. At the Hibari compound with her new dad. Black fire chakra ignited. Jaeger will resolve the issue. A portal opened mid-sentence. As if that was the "come forth my zombie minion" signal, Jaeger stepped through in all his tall, dark, and creepy glory, only to bow his head and disappear inside another warp hole. Naruto was hella impressed. Not even his old ANBU could mobilize in the space of a second. Also touched that Jaeger had included him in his bow. Then again, Kurama had scared the unlife out of him. It was probably due to caution rather than courtesy. Politeness never hurt anyone though, so. Thanks, Bermuda-san, I knew you'd come through. Baby Chief did that cat-like head slant he had down to an art form. Is that so? Why did that sound like a segue into something with far-reaching consequences? Naruto had a strange feeling, either bad nor good, just interesting. Yep. He bobbed his head, smiling, hoping this wouldn't turn out to be the painful sort. Never doubted you for a moment. Then perhaps, Baby Chief suggested, chilly and imperious, a threat of do or die. In exchange, and an undertone of you owe me. You would be amenable to the idea of mediating a situation for us. Called it. His cheeks smarted already. What kind of situation? One concerning another child. There was a prickle of that cold mirth, if Naruto strained his ears, an inside joke about his similarity to Jato if he read Baby Chief right. You have experience in child care, Ja? Ah. It all made sense. Of course, it had to do with brats. Baby Chief wanted to foist another hellion on him, because why the hell not? He seemed to be picking up brats right and left, and apparently it was inherent in his bloodline. Naruto felt an empathetic link with Jato, but in no way did it mean he'd go down without a fight. Oh no, Baby Chief would really have to sell this one. Well, maybe? I mean, you gotta give me something more here, Bermuda-san. What about this kid has you asking me for help? He hit the nail on the head, Baby Chief's head, to be exact. That cat-like slant didn't look half as regal as it should be. More discomfited, reluctant. He is the heir of a famiglia that has committed no crime, yet he appears to be unusually interested in our operations. Naruto translated that into, a baby sky's been stalking you and cramping your style. And no, he wasn't laughing up a storm inside, honest, that was Kurama. And you came to me because I'm good with kids? Baby Chief must have not cared for his wording. At all. See for yourself. And oh, there he went again with the black fire chakra and the zombie minions and the portals. Only this time, tall, blonde, and creepy stepped through, a little cherub attached to his hip, all pure white and halo above his head and chattering away with a voice so sweet and musical as the trumpets of heaven. Like playing chess. I'll be the White King and you'll be the Black Queen and the prisoners can be the pawns and it'll be so much fun. Nah, don't you think so, Jack? Pretty pleased with the cherry on. Are those chocolate chip cookies? Yay! Wow. Just wow. Angel Boy jumped in feet first and landed on the table with one mighty leap, aiming for the plate of chocolate chip cookies as if he was possessed by the spirit of Chocho on a sugar high. Tall, blonde, and creepy, aka Jack the Black Queen, flew back into the portal with the despair of the damned. Baby Chief cloaked himself in darkness and hatred to ward off the holy light, then signaled at Naruto he'd be back later and followed his zombie minion. And Naruto let loose the gales of laughter he'd been holding back up until the mafia police legged it. Sold, Baby Chief, that was fucking priceless. And I even have it on tape. Oi, kid! He choked out, laughing and gods, his stomach hurt, but fuck, so worth it. You got a name? I'm Byakuran of the Gesso Famiglia and I like your cookies. But you know what would go better with chocolate? Half his face and all his fingers smeared, Angel Boy grinned, puppy dog eyes going all out to win and cheeks puffed out as he kept munching, not even bothering to ask where he was or who Naruto was or why they were suddenly alone. Marshmallows. Can I have some? Please? The mean nannies never let me have more than one bag a week. I can't live like that. This kid was one of a kind, Naruto promptly decided, and he was here to stay for at least a month, even if he had to kidnap him. Course you can. Angel Boy did a double take. Hell, he even stopped gorging himself on cookies. Really? Yep. Kid deserved all the marshmallows in the world as far as Naruto was concerned. So he grinned and made a clone. See? My nice clone will go buy you some. Then got a face full of Angel Boy, arms wrapped around his head and spreading the chocolate love and almost suffocating him. You're the best, who are you? Pfft. Figured he'd ask after his sugar addiction had been sated. Angel Boy had his priorities straight, that was for damn sure. And a hell of a tight grip. Pushing the kid's arms away to breathe, Naruto ruffled his hair. Name's Naruto. Nice to meet ya, Ranchan. Reaching out an arm, he grabbed some napkins to clean up the mess, while Angel Boy kept chirping in his face. You're the coolest person I've ever met, Naruto-chan. Even better than, where'd Jack go? 2 out of 3, huh? And location was the least important, which actually said a lot about how Angel Boy had ended up with the zombie police. Why don't you sit down, Ranchan? The Vindice had to go settle something for me, but they'll be back later to pick you up, Kay? After jumping onto the chair beside Naruto's, did this kid ever do things normally like, say, walk? Angel Boy settled down. Marginally. Your friends? I thought they didn't have friends, other than me. You can say that. Baby Chief might pretend otherwise, but they so were revenge buddies. Question was, what kind of buddies were they with this kid? How did you meet them? Well, everything was so boring. Angel Boy let out a sort of woe's me noise, something between whining and sighing and feel my pain, dude. Every single day, I had to study and take lessons and learn how to be a proper mafia heir, and I was bored to tears. And then the maids started gossiping about how the Vindice were heroes of justice. Not that they used those words, but what else could they be? I mean, they beat up the bad guys and locked them up and made the world a safer place, you know? And when I heard that, I thought it sounded so much better than being a mafia heir, so I ran away to find them. Nodding, as if this was a perfectly valid reason to want to enlist in the zombie police force, Naruto patted Angel Boy on the head. So you did? Angel Boy shrugged, kicking out his legs and sucking on his bottom lip, then turned off the mania and turned on the puppy dog eyes. Are they mad at me? Is that why they left me with you? Will you send me back to the mean nannies and the boring tutors? Laughter bubbled up in his throat. Which god had sent him this kid and where could he pay them tribute? Nice try, Ranchan, but pull the other one. Naruto pinched his cheeks. But not too hard, more I'm proud you're pulling the same shit I used to unless I'm hurt you think it'd work on me. Guilt-tripping me? I thought you were smarter than that. A grin full of mischief and honest joy crossed Angel Boy's face. You promised me marshmallows. I like you? Which Naruto interpreted as, so I get the cute means of coercion instead of the sly ones. Angel Boy's grin grew sly, confirming he was the devil in disguise. Just like Naruto. The corners of his mouth lifted, his chest warm with nostalgia, and yeah, those were the good old days, wreaking havoc and getting chased by Iruka-sensei and orange paint everywhere. And the Vindice? Angel Boy's grin grew even sleer. Like I said, they're heroes of justice. I don't think they know how to deal with kids who haven't done anything wrong beyond being annoyingly hyper. I like this kid. Kurama's grin was 9 times sleer, a gleam of fangs and a sway of tails. Yeah, Naruto liked him too. But really? No, not really. The fox scoffed, as if the insinuation of the great Kyuubi liking humans was unthinkable and the height of insult, predictable as ever. Still better than your other brats. This kid has potential. No Uchiha blood for one. Naruto snorted, both at Kurama's self-denial and Angel Boy's self-indulgence. You can't keep following them around. Cue the waterworks. But life will be so boring again. He lunged for the cookies too, shoveling them into his mouth since Angel Boy apparently couldn't function without sugar during stressful situations. Or no, make that all situations. Tell you what, Ranchan, you can play with my kids whenever you want. Naruto pinched his bulging cheeks when Angel Boy's eyes lit up. This munchkin was fucking adorable. If you promise to let the Vindice do their job in peace and not run away from home anymore. How's that? Angel Boy jumped from his seat and onto Naruto's face. Deal. I want to join. Were the first words out of Angel Boy's mouth once Naruto introduced him to his brats and the concept of the Chunin exams. And yeah, he had seen it coming, which was why he'd also come prepared. Not missing a beat, Naruto unsealed the secret stash of marshmallows and dangled the caramel-dipped ambrosia in front of Angel Boy's face as he said, The Chunin exams are a special Konoha tradition, Ranchan. Sorry, but I can't let you join. Eyes on the prize and momentarily distracted, Angel Boy was airing his thoughts, an incoherent babble interspersed with leaping jumps whenever Naruto brought the bag within his reach. We can become allies and we can do this a Konoha Gesso thing. Suddenly he stilled. Purple eyes slanted and cunning and penetrating, he smiled with the gravitas of a world leader. As the Gesso heir, I approve of this alliance. Naruto contemplated this change and what it could mean for the future, and the sheer possibilities, and came to one conclusion. Angel Boy was a genius among geniuses. The Chunin exam's true purpose was originally to show off military strength, stave off war, and draw in customers. If they coordinated with other famiglia, Giglio Nero, Gesso, hell, even the Varia, because the Tiara brat would kill to join any kind of blood sport, they could advertise their Fuinjutsu business and make a name for themselves in the mafia world. They could start with Shamel's list of potential clients, Private invitation only for now, and expand later. That can be arranged. Just like that, in the span of 30 thought-laden seconds, because Naruto was a man of action and that was how long it took him to decide serious shit. Pleased with himself, he hummed and relinquished a bag of sweets into Angel Boy's eager hands. Alright, Ranchan. You can join the third phase of the Chunin exam since that's the individual battles, but I can't promote you even if you win, cause you missed the first stage, and you can't participate in the second due to your lack of teammates. Undeterred, Angel Boy stuffed his face while trying to chew and talk at the same time. That's okay. I just want to have fun, but if I do win, you can take me on a worldwide trip and I can eat all the marshmallows and you can eat all the ramen. Slowing down, that rare gravitas made a reappearance when he musingly said, I've always wanted to do that. Ranchan. Naruto gripped the boy's shoulder, dead serious. You're the white to my orange, the games to my pranks, the marshmallow to my ramen. Naruto-chan. Angel Boy gripped Naruto's shoulder. Dead serious. You. Me. Friends. Forever. They gazed at each other, with eyes of living flame, like dreams in burning skies, and spoke as one. We shall rule the world, and it shall know peace through us. Thus began the Unholy Sky Alliance and the Konoha Gesso annual trips during which Naruto and Byakuren fucked shit up in terrifyingly humiliating ways, all the while depleting the nations of confections and noodles, rescuing kittens and puppies, adopting poor orphans, and overthrowing Bond villains. Worst of all, the Vindice joined them. Chapter 19. Welcome to Mafia Land. Please state your name, the number of your party, and your famiglia or affiliation. Naruto stared at the woman blankly, the same woman as last time, with the same too perfect accent, the same too plastic smile, the same too even voice, the same too scripted lines. Gotta be a robot, no way she's human. Good thing baby Kabuto stayed home, he would have fallen head over heels in love. Oi Kurama? Human, the fox half rumbled, half yawned, and boy, was he right up there with a sleep-deprived Shikamaru and competing for the title of the crankiest Nara ever. Now shut up and let me sleep. Gonna sleep again? Haven't you had enough? Wanna be prettier? Tryna be the beauty instead of the beast? Are you even sure Robot Lady's human? Kurama did the equivalent of kicking him out and closing the blinds, only with red fire chakra instead. Ouch. Geez, grumpy much? Uzumaki Naruto. 17 including myself. We are the Konoha Famiglia. Thank you. Please wait a moment. She expressed no sign of surprise at the different Famiglia name, unlike the assorted crowd of mafiosi loitering nearby, gawking and gossiping and rudely pointing fingers. All the while phrases like it's the demon spawns and oh gods, they came back and run for your lives were bandied about. Huh. Guess they made an impression last time, but what were the chances? Wait, whoa, back up. Wasn't that the guy Kaguya forced into a canary costume during the Nin animal craze? Oh man, silly bastard still had the fluffy wings on. That's my boy. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Naruto signaled at Kaguya behind his back, full marks, Tengu. He swore he could just feel the boy plume himself on his hunting prowess like a half-grown raptor. Here are your passes. Please refer to the desk on your right, if you wish to make use of our training facilities. Have a nice day. Naruto signed for Kyoko to accept the identification cards in his stead, just to see if her new and improved creepy as fuck, I know all your secrets smile could get a reaction out of Robot Lady. It didn't. Damn, Ibiki would have gone down on his knees and begged to have her join TNI. Giving up on the mystery of Robot Lady, he herded them towards the side entrance, a task made easier with the way the crowd parted before them like the Red Sea, but still staying in orbit, a mixture of fear and morbid curiosity guiding their actions. Well, kids? I only have good news. Naruto grinned from ear to ear, impish and thoroughly enjoying how the mafiosi shuddered as if experiencing flashbacks of his previous speech. Poor, naive bastards. It was going to be so much worse this time. Teams A and B are with Sarayu. At the mention of his code name, Fawn flashed his trademark smile, that soft, fatal promise slicing through his nondescript hinge. Teams A and B not only matched him, they went above and beyond. Bloodthirst, those kitty little grins and battle cries and obviously rehearsed pageantry. All nimble acrobatics and fire chakra blazing and weapons flying and flashy shit like that. And wow, that was pretty damn neat, color him impressed. Just how long had they been practicing this routine? And just to rub it in Fawn's face? Definitely something Kyoya would do, yeah. Have fun during the second stage. Cheers, and all eyes on them. It was like they had detonated an explosive tag right in the middle of a peace talk. Some were rendered blind, some charred to the bone, some chock full of shrapnel, still stupidly suicidal and lingering on the periphery. Also, Sancher will be overseeing your progress and working on damage control if need be. Shamao wasn't half as accommodating as Fan, though his henge was eye-catching as hell. Like, imitation was the highest form of flattery and all, but there should be limits, really. Marvin Gaye, if you cover his greatest hits on the way back, I'm leaving you on the cruise ship and your new soul brother career. Once was more than enough, Dr. Sexual Healing. Gee, thanks, Volpe. A parody of a smile. Voice syrupy and oozing false sincerity. Spending my free time rearranging the minds of hapless morons is the definition of my dream vacation. Well, Naruto's didn't include bad renditions of Marvin Gaye songs, so they were even. The dawning horror on the faces of the various mafiosi all around backed him up. Or maybe it was the memory-tweaking part of the conversation they disagreed with. Whatever. Not like they'd remember it for long. Don't mention it, Eroasan. Shamao gave him the finger. Naruto gave him the 1,000 years of death. In the dead silence, and what the fuck just happened interlude, Fawn's quirked brow all but screamed, is this move fucking legit, and did you actually say most secret and sacred taijutsu technique, and what did you Konoha ninja smoke when you came up with that shit? Naruto's quirked brow screamed back, yo, dude, don't diss Kakashi-sensei's genius, and that shit is fucking lethal, and just ask Gaara's absolute defense broken bullshit. The mafiosi clearly sided with Naruto, their grimaces and frantic ass-covering screaming louder than words ever could. Also, the kitty cheering, because his brats knew awesome when they saw it. Team C and D are with me. We're gonna pay Colonello a visit and try out his hopefully improved weekend course. Clapping his hands once, Naruto wrapped up his speech to the kids' unholy glee and the mafiosi's horrified shock and flashbacks. With that said, let's split up. We're gonna meet up here in 2 days. Feel free to go wild and kick the stuffing out of Sarayu's puny exam. Isn't your sensei awesome? The kids' cheering grew wilder. Naruto mentally patted himself on the back. Fan was grudge-smiling behind his sleeve. Shamao was slowly dragging his ass back while unleashing a scourge of mosquitoes on Naruto. The mafiosi were crossing themselves as if warding off evil and praying for deliverance. Oh, come on. Seriously? This again? Way to be original, losers. No. Colonello's heartfelt welcome was a thing of beauty. Not just no, but fuck no. And really, all Naruto had done was to take 10 measly steps and wave. Hell, his brats were still underground and out of sight. It was so touching and ego-stroking that he couldn't help but go, "Ah man, I miss you too. Why are you here, Korra? That's not really important. Like hell it's not. And oh, here come his little ducklings. Wait, hold up, did you? Mother. Fucker." Colonello grabbed his rifle and began shooting, an indiscriminate, rapid-fire assault of bullets and curses. By Ares, you reproduced again! Once he had gotten his rage out of his system, or probably run out of ammo, Naruto approached the panting army baby, hands stuffed in his pockets and emanating "I totally come in peace" calm. Humming, he threw out an offhand, "Say, did you upgrade your traps?" Colonello blinked. Yeah? As if then comprehending the impending doom, his gaze sharpened, iris a blue so pale it almost merged with the white of his eye, arctic as the Alaskan tundra and twice as unforgiving. "Hey, don't give me that look!" Naruto raised his arms, sticking to his "this is totally not what you think" spiel, although the creepy murder laughter soundtrack might have ruined the effect just a little. If there was one word that could describe Makuro, in all honesty, it was subtlety. Problem was, 9 times out of 10, his twisted cravings for amusement and mindfuckery won against his sneaky, snaky ways. Naruto laughed, too, his laughter loud and free-falling and obnoxious enough to drown out that uncute little shit. "I promise they aren't as experienced as my other brats. And hey, don't you need people to rate the quality of your traps? SWHY, we're here actually. It'll be like a free test run." Stony incredulity replaced the ice in Colonello's eyes, muscles flexing in his arms as if he was 2 seconds away from but stroking him right in the face. Instead of going for it though, he breathed in, breathed out, long and deep and repeatedly. Like a tribal rain ritual or fucking Lamaze or some shit, each expelled breath followed by therapeutic chanting, such as fuck that motherfucking noise and so getting a goddamn raise after this bullshit is over and gotta blacklist them so fucking hard their grandkids will feel the ban. Where are your other brats, Korra? Naruto almost missed the question since the army baby was still communing with the rain spirits, complete with diaphragm breathing and lotus pose. He would like to say he debated whether to give him a break for, maybe, 1 whole minute before. Ah man, I knew you missed them, too. In reality, it was closer to 10 seconds, but hey, it got the job done. Colonello's eyes cracked open. He blinked once, then snapped, veins throbbing and livid and with the fragile sanity of someone who was just broken out of a religious experience. Do not move, Korra. A spun-out pause, gravid with intent. I'll be back. And back he went, to ritualistic chanting that was, only this time it was geared towards psyching himself up and bitching about how baby ain't gonna cut it, and need a whole lot of more firepower, and where the fuck did I stash the RPG-7? Minnie Anko giggled and started clapping with an I'm so inspired you're my idol exuberance, while Makuro performed an elaborate, beautiful stage bow, something that would have looked ridiculous if anyone else had the balls to even attempt it. Ken howled at the moon, snubbing the midday sun in true werewolf fashion, and Chikusa outlined the number 10 with Simban on the closest target, which happened to be Colonello's lawn chair. Hayato's eyes were sparkling, the boy somehow having sprouted puppy ears and a wagging tail and feverishly proclaiming he would follow you to the ends of the earth. Shodai-sama. Haru was in the middle of a cute cheerleader jig, spelling out Naruto's name with honest-to-God purple glitter pom-poms. Shoichi was clutching at his stomach, seeming unable to decide if he should laugh or have an epic freak-out, ending up doing both as he leaned against Spanner, who was sucking on a lollipop, his 23rd counting by the torn wrappers around his feet, and being sucked into his sketchpad, drawing some sort of orange Mecha Naruto aptly named Terminator Konoha version. Naruto pounced on them, laughing as they scampered off into the obstacle course, because his brats were pure awesome and fucking adorable and deserved all the hugs in the world. Good job, brats. Team C needs to tone down the overkill, Team B needs to coordinate better, but overall nice effort. If you keep this up, Team C will be taking the Chunin exams next year, Team D the year after. A feeling of déjà vu struck Naruto when, in the midst of that heartwarming scene, abound with praise, hair-ruffling, self-satisfied kitty grins, and smoking craters in the background, Colonello grabbed him by the collar of his shirt and headbutted him. Never. Come back, Korra. Straight to the point, commanding to a fault, and wholly expected. A shit-eating grin spread across Naruto's face. You sure you won't miss us? Just. Colonello tried to wring Naruto's neck, a series of strangled sounds coming from his own throat, then sighed and deflated like a popped water balloon. Leave. Arms going slack, he jumped down and rubbed the last spots of tension out of his muscles. And where the fuck is Skull? Being stealthy isn't like him. I should have heard his voice by now, Korra. Confusion furrowed Naruto's brows. I thought the Carcassa invasion only happened once a year. Why would the biker baby? Yeah, but why else would my pacifier be reacting? Oh. Shit. Forgot about that. Naruto let out a laugh, so phony it would have been a dead giveaway if not for the creepy murder laughter back vocals. Nice save, Kuro-chan, I'll buy you all the chocolate. Gathered his brats up, and hightailed it out of there. Gotcha, carry on, we'll be going, see ya. Colonello decided he didn't want to know. Because screw that motherfucker and his alien spawns and Skull and his stupid octopus. Maybe it was time to take a vacation. With no mafia bullshit. With his lovely lol. Aboard the cruise ship, Naruto released the Marvin Gaye wannabe, aka Shamal the Love Doctor, upon the unsuspecting passengers in the lounge bar and chose to congregate on the deck. So how was it? And yeah, it was rhetorical, but the kids' faces begged him to ask, so they could smugly display their trophies. Fawn's smile was two-faced. There was the right UV raised wonderful little terrorist side and the left you'll pay for saddling me with them side. Both teams pass. Was all he said, which was their cue to open each team's storage scroll. Hannah went first, unrolling Team B's scroll with quick efficiency. Her already meager reserves for showing off must have dried up after the combined "we're gonna win this whole shebang just watch us" brouhaha. A variety of labeled objects materialized with a poof of smoke. Naruto crouched down to read the tags and examine their bountiful loot, ranging from outerwear emblazoned with a familia's coat of arms, to personalized pens and wallets and notebooks, to bras and panties and boxers and briefs. His low whistle bolstered Team B's smugness, and yeah, If his brats could steal Timoteo's Cloud Guardian sunglasses, they had earned the damn right to be insufferable, grinning beasties. Although, why was the Vongola Cloud Guardian at Mafia Land to begin with? Naruto sought Fon's gaze, flashing him a few signs while the kids sealed back their trophies. Vongola. Cloud. Purpose. Team B. Target. An imperceptible head shake. Unknown. Mist. Illusion. Team B. Distraction. So the reason for the old guy's presence remained elusive. Shamao supported Team B with Genjutsu. The kids created distractions and covertly snatched his sunglasses amid the chaos. And yeah, he could live with that. Kyoya stepped forward then, unsealing Team A's scroll with a smirk. But unlike Team B's veritable horde, out came a single thing. The army baby's oh-so-precious anti-tank rifle. Naruto had known it, of course. Hell, he had watched it happen in real time, had unwittingly assisted Team A in accomplishing their lofty goal. Fon had allowed it, though, with Naruto's tacit consent, because it was a superb example of how to take advantage of the situation, make use of unexpected allies, and exploit concurrent events for the benefit of the mission. Another low whistle, more smugness, more insufferable, grinning beasties. Also, Naruto joining in on the fun and shooting Fon Kakashi-sensei's trademark. Can you feel it? I smile while taunting the fuck out of someone, because your exam, your responsibility, man. Fon smiled as he sealed Colonello's rifle, 1,000 grudges simmering beneath his sleeve. For a moment, Naruto faltered. That slow-burning fire kind of reminded him of the time Himawari. We promised never to talk about that. Wow, that actually woke you up? That never happened. Say it with me. Never. Happened. What never happened, exactly? Then the moment was over. Turning to the still smug Chunin hopefuls, who were swapping stories of untold chaos and mindfuckery with Team C and D, Naruto beamed at them all, pride fierce and infinite, and pulsing in his chest in tandem with his heartbeat. I'm the proudest. They swarmed him. Buried under the puppy pile, Naruto was by turns laughing and choking, so many elbows and knees and gods, he'd be spitting hairs for days, so totally worth it. Do I even need to ask if anyone wants to give you? He got a jab in the gut. Kyoya had to be that little hellspawn. This called for drastic measures like unsealing the magic box and dangling it over their heads. Awesome. Grab a number. In the blink of an eye, Teams A and B formed a straight line, Team C and D a few steps behind, cheering them on as one by one they stuck their hands in. 1. Kyoya smirked as if being first in everything was the natural order. 4. Kyoko's Genjutsu smile bathed the deck in blinding light, a parade of fucking summer court fae, all fluttering wings and fairy dust and vicious, sharp-toothed grins. 5. Takashi laughed, the kind of laughter only high-functioning psychopaths could produce. 2. Hana squared her shoulders and stared at Kyoya, wills and gazes clashing violently. And oh, this just went from a one-on-one match to a Team A versus Team B face-off with their pride as team leaders on the line. 6. Tetsuya bowed his head first at Naruto, never one to eschew protocol, then at Takashi, a calculated my hard work trumps your genius tilt of his head. 8. Ryohei exploded, an outburst of yellow fire chakra and extremes and challenges against everyone regardless of matching numbers. Ranchan's already picked 3, so that leaves 7 for Belchan. Now! Naruto flared his orange to get them back on track, and boy, did they calm the fuck down. Awesome orange was awesome. Who the hell needed blue? Not him, nah. Kyo-chan's with me. Fon will take Hana-chan. Verde called dibs on Ryo-chan. Gamma's waiting to pick up Tetsu-chan. He'll also deliver Take-chan to Squalo. Ero-asan and Kuro-chan have Kyoko-chan covered. Ranchan roped the Vindice into training him, don't even ask me how, and Belchan's training with the various Storm Division. As they pondered the merits of their respective teachers and what they could possibly learn from them, well, at least half of them did. Naruto and Fon eyed each other and smiled, because hell yeah, their brats were right and their pride as sensei was also on the line. Take a good look at your opponent cause you won't be seeing them again till the matches. You have 1 month to prepare before we fly to Italy for the final phase. Gesso will construct the stadium and Arya will be the proctor. Good luck, brats. Chapter 20. Yo! Fon sighed, lips pursing in mild exasperation, and you are being ridiculous, and what am I to do with you? When Naruto strode inside the drawing room as if he owned the place, a silent, scowling Kyoya on his heels. Brat had really not appreciated his training being put on hold for his great uncle's whatever. What's up? I thought we agreed no visits. SWHY we swapped kids for the month, you know. The little lady's happy gurgling at the sound of Naruto's voice made his lips tilt up. Also drew Kyoya's attention like a homing beacon. That mulish scowl melted off his face in 2 seconds flat. Naruto snorted when the little hellion shot a challenging look at Fan, then marched over to her fuzzy cherry-red cocoon, each step relaying his resolve to prove he was the better caretaker and a fanatic gleam in his eye that spoke of a budding sis-con. And yeah, Brat was a goner. Fan sipped his tea, the little byplay passing unacknowledged beyond a "you and your silly hissy fits" hum. True, but we had an interesting visit yesterday. Naruto sat down and crossed his legs, pouring himself a steaming cup of tea. Not too sweet, not too bitter kinda perf. Oh shit. Fan had brought out the high-quality stuff. That tea maniac never shared his precious oolong tea leaves unless he was having a very, very good day. Which meant Naruto was about to have a very, very bad day. Swallowing slowly, liquid perfection gliding down his throat, Naruto savored his oolong tea, because he might regret this visit in the end, but it was still the best goddamn tea he'd ever tasted and Fan couldn't take that away from him. And by we you mean? Just as Naruto raised his cup to take another slow sip, Fan calmly informed him that the Hibari clan had the dubious honor of hosting the Triads and the Vind Ice for dinner. Naruto did a spit take. He hadn't expected that kind of sneak attack because wasting perfectly good tea is so not you, Fan. Seriously, what's wrong with you, man? His super intuition trilled something indistinct that made him feel homesick. A chill crept down his spine. Fuck, today's gonna be worse than I thought. Sighing, he reached for the tissue box and focused on the present. Damn, Jaeger works fast. It's been 5 days, and he already got results. Funny you should mention that. Oh. Funny for whom? Fan waved him off with a hand, billows of red silk and wicked humor, and for him that was like an extravaganza, a play imparting the moral no good deed goes unpunished. Oh, please do not misunderstand. I am grateful for their assistance, however unexpected it was. If only we could have been forewarned of their arrival and prepared accordingly. My dear sister, in particular, was quite distraught by the poor image we must have presented to our esteemed law enforcement. The taste of his tea changed into a rather cloying flavor. Naruto swallowed thickly, throat clogging. Ah. Yes. Fan's smile was grotesquely beatific. Ah. Water, need water. He looked around, scanning the table, the floor, the walls, the whole fucking room, but found nothing. And she would like to have words with you. Fan's tone, that loaded pause, the glee decorating his mouth like a gilded trophy, they all implied words were the last thing they would be having. Oh, in case you misunderstood again. Fat chance of that. Bastard was just milking it for all it's worth. That was not a request. Ugh, starting to burn. Naruto was itching to claw at his throat, or pull off a D-rank Suiton. He was crap at weak-ass Suiton, he would so overdo it, totally not his fault. Pretty in Red was sitting within range, but he refused to give that calm bastard the satisfaction. Ah. Yes. Pause. Smile. Ah. Fuck it. One moment, Fan was seated, relaxed and immaculately dressed, then the next moment, he was across the room, his posture still loose but the edges of his sleeves dark red and dripping. Naruto grinned, still cross-legged and elbows resting on the table, chin propped in the palm of his right hand, enjoying his drink of water. Fan's smile now promised retribution, but when did it not? Naruto had lost count of how long that grudge list had grown. It just kept growing even if he did nothing. Like that time Fan held him accountable for Kyoya stealing his Nin monkey. How was that Naruto's fault? All he had done was share what he remembered from Konohamaru's know-how about primates with the boy. If Lychee liked the little hellspawn better after that, well... Sensei. Kyoya's voice was soft and dark with pleasure. It sounded terribly wrong when he was cradling Ipin in his arms, rocking her back and forth and enumerating all the major bones of the human skeleton and how to break, fracture, shatter them. If Naruto didn't know he was smitten with adoration for the tiny earless thing, he'd have been the poster boy for baby serial killers. Sobo-sama, unlike her sad excuse for a male sibling, is quite formidable. You should not take her lightly. Got any advice? Do not run. It will be worse if you do. Thanks, Kyo-chan. Naruto ruffled the boy's hair, tickled the baby's belly, then trudged his way to Fan who was waiting for him at the shoji door, damp sleeves rolled up to his elbows and features schooled into an expression of quiet, sadistic anticipation. Naruto's mouth stretched into a thin line. Letting your sister do your dirty work for ya? Not cool, bro. Fawn flashed him that yes smile. You just wish you had an awesome sister like mine. Suck it, bro. Yeah, he was so gonna regret this day. Of course, with Naruto's luck, the Hibari matriarch had to be a monstrously strong, yellow fire chakra medic grandma. He really should have known better than to dismiss the Granny Tsunade parallels. Or his scarily infallible, asshole-ish super intuition. We meet at last, Naruto Bo. Hibari-kin, also known as the Gold Taipan, said, Gods, it was like meeting Shimabie all over again, calling him little boy with that sweet grandma cooing rasp and smiling before she sent him flying with a mega punch. Yeah, that. She also billed him for the repairs of the West Wing and the hospitalization of the Hibari personnel, as if it was his fault he crashed through 6 walls and 3 cherry trees, all the way to the koi pond, taking 4 guards and 2 maids with him. On a brighter note, all the koi miraculously survived. They were Hibari-bred koi, and thus tough cold-water fuckers. Jesso's idea of a Chunin exam stadium turned out to be a Rome meets Konoha Coliseum. At the sky box overlooking the arena, giving him an unlimited view of the steadily arriving audience, sprawled on his gold-framed red velvet throne chair and twirling his champagne glass, Naruto had to admit Gesso had style. It was such an awesome I'm the king of the world moment, that the universe must have been compelled to piss on his party with the lamest way it knew how, via ear-splitting, blade-swinging, pissed-off sword psycho. Voy. Ramen trash. Who the fuck are you? Seriously. What, no hello, sword psycho? I'm hurt. Deeply. Squalo scoffed as he grabbed a champagne glass of his own and took the seat on Naruto's left, which meant they were now only missing the last guest of honor. If he would even deign to show up. You're not Giglio Nero. Squalo's voice had lowered to normal human frequencies. His gaze, on the other hand, was drilling into the side of Naruto's skull, sharp, engaging, and insistent. Puppy said as much. We never claimed to be. Naruto shrugged, a lazy roll of his shoulders, the one you assume underlying his assertion crystal clear. When Squalo opened his mouth to no doubt cuss him out for the deception, or the omission, or whatever bullshit excuse his mind would concoct, Naruto shook his head. Look, how about we start over? With an amused smile, he offered his free hand. We are the Konoha Famiglia and we're new blood. Squalo appraised him for a moment, a grudging sort of respect in his eyes, the kind that said you have balls of steel, but if you pull that shit on me again, I'll fucking disembowel you, then firmly shook it. How new? About 4 months old. Officially, at least. Why is this the first time I'm hearing about it? Same reason you thought we were Giglio Nero. TCH, fair enough. Irritated, but more at himself if Naruto had to guess, Squalo nodded above his glass, then swigged the champagne in 2 gulps. So what's your fucking deal? Being an insufferable pain in my ass. Kurama smirked, poking Naruto's chest with one of his tails, and encouraging go on, your turn now. Naruto stared at him drilly. We're still making wisecracks, it's Saturday. A statement, matter of fact, as if Naruto was an idiot who couldn't even read a calendar right. More tail poking. Yeah, I know. Saturday's always been our wisecrack day, but my brats are about to have, I dunno, a maybe life or death exam here. What do I care if your brats are trying to kill each other for the entertainment of worthless, imbecilic humans? Kurama snarled and tried to skewer him with that fucking tail. You will not deprive me of my Saturday entertainment. Oh, well, if you insist. Naruto chuckled while dodging to the left, then to the right, then left again, until it looked more like a whack-a-mole game. Kurama, old buddy, old pal. Sorry to break it to you, but I wouldn't go near your hairy ass if it was the last piece of ass on earth. I know it pains you will never be that close. Keep talking and you'll be coming out of my hairy ass. That was way too visual for Naruto. He might have just thrown up a little in his mouth. You win this round, Kurama. The fox cracked a malicious, fanged grin and tallied up the score, with all his fucking tails and a clawed middle finger no less. Ironically, Kurama was winning 10-9, while Naruto refilled his champagne and slugged it straight back to get rid of that awful taste. Had another. And another. Squalo quirked a brow at his sudden increase in alcohol intake, but made no comment on it. You got the catalog before you came in, right? Patting down his leather jacket. Really, man? Leather? It's like 90 degrees out. I'm amazed you haven't become a lobster. Squalo reached into an inner pocket and fished it out, squinting at the striking whirlpool design taking up 2/3 of the cover. This Fuinjutsu shit? Yup. Naruto nodded, grinning and damn proud of his family and not afraid to show it. That's part of the reason we're doing this. CM? He motioned with his glass towards the half-filled seats below them and around the stadium, Squalo's eyes tracking the movement, mind whirling and analyzing. Potential clients and all that PR crap. Giglio, Nero, and Gesso opened the doors, but we gotta sell it ourselves. You're allies with both. No shit, genius. Boy, was he slow on the uptake today. But no big names in the crowd, which means you're only targeting independent contractors. Or maybe not. That's better, now we're talking. I was beginning to lose faith in you. He still didn't get it though. Why did it always have to be fucking politics? Kurama grumbled something that sounded like what do you expect from humans, but it was half-hearted at best. His father and Naruto had proven to him what humans could achieve if they chose to rise above the selfish needs of their nature. If he could do it once, he sure as hell could do it again. Just watch him. We don't actually need any political clout, you know, this is strictly business. His voice was sober and unwavering and carried the weight of his convictions. As for our alliances, it was never about that to begin with. Squalo's gaze was growing wider with each word Naruto spoke. Now that some of the masks were off, he was starting to understand what kind of man Naruto was, where he came from and where he was going. We have no interest in power plays and all that old blood bullshit. Voy. It was more reflexive than anything. Nothing followed for long, quiet seconds. Too quiet, and it was still quiet when Squalo regained the ability to translate thoughts into words. The quality of his voice, that jaded honesty in it, how he stared at him with edged silver in his eyes. Spoken like a true new blood. If I hadn't. He stopped, seemed to think better of it, but Naruto had already caught hints of his thoughts. If I hadn't felt your chakra, knew what he meant despite what he might choose to say. If you were anyone else, I'd say you were shark food with that mindset. I know how to play the fucking game. Doesn't mean I will until I have to. The grin that curled his mouth was different, all jagged teeth and primal instinct. Chakra swelled beneath his skin, a violent, seething mass. Squalo stiffened when it pressed down on him. You gonna make me? Fuck no. Spat like the vilest curse. He shuddered as the pressure began to lift, breathed deeply, something cold and mangled brushing against Naruto's chakra. If you don't want to deal with Vongola, that's your damn business. Squalo's face was a portrait of resentment, and bitter disappointment, and angry, gushing wounds. Its origin was made obvious with his next words. We are the fucking Varia, not the 9 slapdogs. Naruto felt bad. God damn it, Sword Psycho. Take-chan sure knows how to pick him. You'd have made quite a pair back in the day. Good thing we managed to desai him before you met. He felt so sorry for the loud bastard, for opening old wounds and picking at them, that he vowed to give Timoteo a piece of his mind when the old man came a-calling. I hear ya, man. Glad we understand each other. He raised his glass, pressed his orange against that cold, mangled thing as an apology. Warm and soothing, and wait, why was he looking at him like Naruto had just killed his puppy? Naruto knew the bastard couldn't take flattery for shit, but he apparently couldn't deal with positive reinforcement either. Was he like, conditioned for abuse or a raging masochist or what? A warp hole ripped through the air, black fire filling the void, and from its abyssal depths emerged. Oh hey Jack! Naruto beamed, a brilliant, dazzling smile, like distilled sunlight. Glad you could make it, man. Renchan'll be over the moon when he sees you up here. He'd never been more grateful to see the living dead, bless their black, unbeating hearts. His criticism must have stuck in their craw, because their response time was kicking some serious ass these days. Squalo, who had gone eerily quiet and still, not so much. He whispered, and whoa, since when could he do that? Naruto had been certain the guy didn't know what whispering even was. The hell is the Vindice doing here? HM? Oh, same thing we all are. When Squalo stared at him with a numb sort of horror, a bizarre mix of dazed and alert, Naruto spoke slowly, carefully, emulating parents when first teaching their children how to talk. I'm here for my brats, you're here for Bell-chan, and Jack's here for Ran-chan. Squalo blinked, jaw hanging open, coming back to life. Then, Ran, you mean the Gesso brat? Still whispering. It was kind of freaking Naruto out, but also cracking him up big time. Forget tea parties, he owed Baby Chief a goddamn feast. All Naruto could do was give a jerky nod, because if he opened his mouth he'd laugh himself to death. How the fuck does he? No, forget it. I don't want to know. Wow, Sword Psycho chose the path of sanity? Naruto would have never thought he had it in him. Since when was he as bad as that loud bastard when it came to assumptions, huh? Maybe it was contagious. The Jumbotron lit up. Arya sashayed down the stairs and into the arena with the glamour of a Hollywood diva, lips red as sin and hips swaying and sexiness cranked up to 11. With a how you doin' wink smile killer combo and a throaty purr, she got this show on the road. Welcome to the Chunin exams. We are honored by your presence here today. Woman knew damn well how to work a crowd. Chuckling, Naruto poured himself another glass of champagne, and because he was an awesome host, but mostly to fuck with Squallow, poured Jack one, too. Arya bowed. The camera zoomed in on her cleavage. The audience went wild. Jack's champagne mutated into something Lovecraftian. Squallow gaped. Naruto grinned. The Chunin exams and this Konoha Gesso Giglio Nero Trinity Alliance were off to a great start. Holy mother of fuck. Where did you find the Cloud Brat, and does he have relatives I can contact? Our Cloud division's been a fucking mess ever since Sanxus blew that lying sack of shit Otabio's brains out. You're asking the wrong guy. If you want to deal with Hibari clan business, you gotta talk to Fawn. Fawn, as in, the Storm Arcobaleno? Yup. Suddenly the Cloud Brat makes sense. Voy. Just how well do you know the Storm Arcobaleno? That fucking insane move the Storm Girl just pulled off had his name written all over it. Well enough, why? Your Storm division's also suffering, Sword Psycho? Fuck off, ramen trash. Rumor has it he ditched the Triads last month. And the Vindice were somehow involved. So? Shit. You're not gonna deny it, are you? Would it make you feel better if I did? Maybe? Ahem. Whoa, Fawn ditched the Triads? The Vindice were in on it? No shit? I had no fucking idea, voy. At least say it like you fucking mean it, ramen trash. Hana and Kyoya went at it like feral beast cubs. Fangs, and claws, and fire, and bloodlust. And the most feral one, Naruto's good fight. Hana-chan, congrats. Kyo-chan echoed amid the what the fuck did we just witness and who let the beasts out silence. The hell did the Vindice creep bring out the chains for? He gonna fucking arrest me for public disturbance noise? That was oddly specific, Sword Psycho. Happened to you before, huh? TCH. Just answer the damn question, ramen trash. Nah, that's just Jack's special way of cheering on Ranchan. You're not shitting me. Kuro-chan, you sly little shit. Teaching Kyoko-chan how to combine that of all the crazy Yamanaka bullshit with medical ninjutsu? You make me proud. Fucking miss. Even the little ones are crazy mindfuckers. Levi's damn lucky puppy laid him out before the Miss Girl dry fucked his brainstem. His nervous system barely functions as it is. So your Lightning Division also sucks ass. That's the third division so far, Sword Psycho. Are you sure you're not mixing up quality with incompetence? I know this awesome dictionary. Finish that sentence, ramen trash, and I will cut you into tiny fucking pieces and feed you to Levi's prized stingrays. That will clear up your confusion. By the way, Jack stopped cheering on Ranchan. I think those kinky chains are all for you. I will kill you later. Byakuren won by the skin of his teeth. With some bullshit hand-clapping technique he pulled out of his ass at the last minute that fucking negated everything. Kyoko pouted. 90% of the mafiosi kissed their hard-ass reputation goodbye when they went "Aw, and we love you, Bambina, and in our hearts, you won," in order to console her. All their heartfelt efforts were for nothing. Byakuren stole their thunder by sharing his Naminori-style custard cream puffs with her. Voy. Go, puppy! Slice the lightning brat up nice and easy. Just think he's that idiot Levi and put him in a fucking coma. Boy, I can really feel the love you have for the Levi guy. What did that bastard even do? Steal your girlfriend? He exists. Voy. I thought the proctor was supposed to be fucking impartial. Why is Arya and half the Giglio Nero smiling at the lightning brat like he's their long-lost heir? Ah. About that. You know how you trained Take-chan for the month? Well, Gamma was the one who trained Tetsu-chan. She, and by extension the female portion of Giglio Nero, might be seeing her future offspring in him. Wait, those two are a thing? If you mean a thing that's gonna happen come hell or high water. Voy, I'd feel sorry for the guy, if she wasn't hot as fuck, yeah. It was kind of hard to tell who really won this fight since Tetsuya got all the hugs and kisses and stuffed animals. Takashi didn't mind. Squallow's colorful praise was enough for him. Voy Bell. If you dare fucking lose to the sun brat, I'll ship you off to Konoha for the rest of the goddamn year. Don't I get a choice in here, Sword Psycho? Fuck if I care, Bell. Look around, this place is filled with fucking trash. You gotta show 'em how we do things. Oh, you're developing selective hearing, Sword Psycho? Because we're very fucking quality, Bell. Oh, don't fucking ignore me, Sword Psycho. Voy. That's cheating. As if enhancing his reflexes with sun flames wasn't bad enough, the sun brat had to harden his attacks with lightning flames. Who the fuck trained him? That underhanded asshole's going down if I ever meet them. TSK. For shame, Sword Psycho. If you're not cheating, you're not trying, still fucking cheating. But if you want to pick a fight with Verde, I'm not gonna stop you. Verde, as in, the lightning arcobaleno? Yup. Go fuck yourself with the swordfish, ramen trash. It was the sole match to surprisingly end in a tie. Genius Psychopath versus Stamina Freak turned out to be an even match. While Belphegor could outsmart him, Ryohei could outlast him. Who knew? Verde did. Kyoya, of fucking course, won the whole damn thing. Chapter 21. Konoha departed from Italy with a fledgling reputation as badass new blood, a slew of purchase orders by soon-to-be loyal clients, 6 newly minted chunin, and a sedated tiara brat smuggled into their luggage. They were blissfully unaware of the last part for the first half of the flight. Squallow thought he was being clever and funny when he wedged him between Hannah's toiletries and underwear. Hannah was not amused. Neither was Belphegor when he woke up in the cargo area, half frozen, with a pair of royal blue panties tangled up in his crown and smelling like coconuts. One international phone call later, involving shattered eardrums, explosive tantrums, copious amounts of swearing, and Naruto putting his foot down, the tiara brat was occupying baby Kabuto's guest wing for the next month. Now, normally, he'd have thought the tiara brat was sent with the hidden motive of spying on them. Except, Belphegor wouldn't know a cloak and dagger spy mission if it bit him on the ass. The dagger part, yeah, he had it down pat, but the cloak? Hell to the no. Also, Squallow had been brushing up against his orange in a please hit me, abuse-starved kind of way, not that the bastard even realized it. Which, okay, messed up, but at least it proved he wasn't playing infiltration games and sneaky shit of that nature. Just that Xanxus must have been a real piece of work, totally not someone Timoteo would approve of as his successor. Although, knowing his Sandame-like tendencies, he had probably half-assed everything and sooner or later the shit would hit the fan. And if the old man had the brilliant idea of saddling him with Vongola's screw-ups, Naruto would enjoy exercising his hard-won right to say not my fucking problem, asshole. The moment he founded Konoha, tenuous familial obligations and old blood ties were irrevocably severed. It was too little, too late, and nothing short of time travel could fix it. Naruto couldn't care less about Vongola and their bloody succession trifles, not when he was so close to conquering the greatest enemy he had faced in his new life. He'd been battling for years now, skirmish after skirmish, ambush after ambush, tirelessly, but finally, the end was near. He could almost taste the sweet mead of victory on his tongue. It began with the Nin animal partners, and ended with the fire chakra summons. Naruto gazed at baby Kabuto, vibrating under his skin, but taking care to conceal all traces of "come on, you're killing me, man, and gimme the good news already," lest the frazzled science baby snap under the extra pressure and go all Sage Kabuto on his ass. Glasses giving off a muted glow under the fluorescent lighting in his laboratory, Nin came and laid across his lap. Baby Kabuto was stroking Kaiman's back like he owed the baby reptile a week's worth of petting at least. Naruto wouldn't be surprised if that was the case. Baby Kabuto had a bad habit of forgetting the world existed when he was knee-deep in research. Hell, he even forgot to eat. Mukuro, the uncute little shit, had sacrificed himself in the name of science and volunteered to undertake the honors job of being his personal nursemaid. When baby Kabuto gave him this betrayed "how could you, I trusted you" look, Naruto shrugged, having zero guilt, because it's a bad habit. We need to break you out of it before you pass it on to the baby geniuses, and if this doesn't work, I don't know what will. I require your assistance. And oh, this sounded more like potentially good news, but better than nothing, so Naruto would take it and be damn grateful. Sure, you got it. He smiled, not that it registered with baby Kabuto. Placing the Ninkamen inside his glass terrarium seemed to be of greater importance to the science baby. K-Man, on the other hand, glared cold-blooded murder, slit pupils constricted and blaming the end of his precious me time on Naruto. I have encountered an error in my calculations. Naruto's left eyelid twitched. Oh? Strange, didn't even begin to cover this three-way conversation. Baby Kabuto was messing about with the terrarium control system. Naruto's eyes were boring into baby Kabuto's back, while Kaiman's were going for Naruto's jugular and plotting revenge from the other side of the glass. Yes, well, although, calling it an error is slightly inaccurate and might be oversimplifying. Yeah, Naruto'd had enough. Yo man, just say what you need me for. Baby Kabuto's spine stiffened, the baby reptile grew 3 sizes, which made his murder glare all the more prominent, and Naruto gave up on ever understanding the mind of a social geniuses. Right, of course. He sort of blurted out, and if that wasn't hilariously sad, Naruto didn't know what was, but at least it got him talking to the thermostat. Fuinjutsu has been exceedingly helpful in understanding how to store flames, but less so in how to conjure flame-powered animals. Every attempt so far has failed. They lack independent thought and do not respond to commands and cannot be sustained for long periods of time. If they run out of flames, they cease to exist altogether. And these are merely the major issues. However, a sudden full stop, a sharp twist of neck, painful to look at. I believe you might be able to conjure a viable sample. The notes you provided mention summoned animals? Baby Kabuto was speaking and staring at him for the first time, but Naruto could have done without the Onryo impersonation. He was so vetoing Chikusa's film recommendations next Sunday movie night. Why did it always have to be fucking ghosts? You're not man enough for Sadako. Fuck off, Kurama. Yeah, about that. Scratching his cheek, Naruto hummed and thought back to that failed attempt at summoning after meeting Fawn. I tried it once, but all I got was, I dunno, disconnect? Like, I got the feeling it'd just be a one-way trip to nowhere even if I overloaded the jutsu? I don't think the summoned realms actually exist in this world, disregarding your empirical evidence and the fascinating theory that supports the existence of groups of multiple, separate universes. Baby Kabuto's lenses were so bright it was dizzying, his voice mad with zeal. For now. Despite everything broadcasting, he was too overwrought to listen to reason. Naruto had to try. He needed his time off, damn it. What little of it remained anyway. You're never gonna let it go, are you? Yes, we will be discussing. It was soft-spoken, sending shivers down Naruto's spine, a horripilation of dread, vengeance for inflicting that sadistic little shit on him. Memories flashed before his eyes, migraines, tons of bullshit jargon, page after page of scrawled impossibilities, Kakashi-sensei tag-teaming with Sasuke and trying to beat space-time mindfuckery into his head in hopes of recreating the Hiraishin. Because if anyone could would do it, it must be him, like some sort of laughable, it was never funny, rite of passage, never mind he hadn't inherited even 1/10 of his parents' Fuinjutsu genius. Suffice to say, it never happened, but the mental trauma stuck. Actually, in the end, the only thing all three could agree on was that the Nidaime bent jutsu creation over his desk and made it his bitch. It was not a good thing. Hindsight was 20/20, after all. To the point where you will be qualified for a doctorate in astrophysics by the time we are done. A threat wrapped in a promise, inside a resolution. Then, if we will ever be done. Naruto fixed him with a hard stare. You are a scary Sanovich. Dude, respect? I will take that as a compliment. Baby Kabuto pushed his glasses up his nose with his index finger, the corners of his mouth drawn back into a smirk of triumph. Now, would you care to demonstrate as I monitor your flame output? Why not? Nothing to lose, nothing to gain, but if it made the science baby happy. Alright, just don't expect it to work. Allow me to determine that. Baby Kabuto readjusted his glasses, and whoa, was that a real smile? His whole face lit up. Maybe there was something to gain, after all. Naruto smiled as he was led to another room, walls reinforced with some kind of chakra-resistant alloy, if he had to guess, and barrier seals drawn by his own hand after an incident involving Hayato, experimental red fire chakra storage seals, and Spanner's mini fire breather 2.0. Ready? Baby Kabuto's voice rang sharply defined and amplified through the speaker system. Naruto closed his eyes, interlaced his fingers and stretched out his arms, turning his head to the left, then slowly to the right to loosen his neck muscles. Inhaling, fire chakra rousing under his skin, molding itself into the almost instinctual pattern for summoning jutsu, exhaling. Anytime you are. Please begin. Chakra exploded outwards in fiery orange waves, rushing across the floor, climbing up the walls, spreading along the ceiling. Burning, flaring, building up. I've poured enough chakra to summon the boss 3 times over. And he's a no-show, baby Kabuto, told you so. Fukasakuji would have hijacked the jutsu by now, if only to whack me on the head with that sage-damned stick for wasting so much chakra. Please continue. Before Naruto could rant to baby Kabuto about the abuse he had suffered at the hands of senile toads, a rumbling noise forestalled him. Need some o' mine? Kurama's jaw was a yawning chasm, tails lazily swaying, bored as fuck. Must be nice to have all the time in the world. Goddamn shameless freeloader. A vein throbbed in Naruto's left temple, smile tight on his lips. You think it'll make a difference? It was how you first summoned that overgrown amphibian, wasn't it? The fox's features contorted into something between a smirk and a scowl, all deep furrows and disdain. Damn arrogant insect eaters. Gastric fluid roiled in Naruto's stomach, queasiness coloring his skin. A rainbow of colors, he changed from green to white to red, and back to green at the end. Ugh, don't remind me. Gods, the larva onigiri, the snail jerky, the beetle soup. I hate you, Kurama. Do not blame me for your juvenile mistakes. Kurama couldn't wipe that scowly smirk off his face. The fur ball went on gloating as if it was his father-given right. If you had contracted with the foxes, like I would have suggested had you but politely asked, you would have been dining like a king. But no, all you wanted was, and I quote, you owe me rent money, so give me your chakra, stupid fox. Gods, that whine was awful, so badly mimicked. Naruto's irritation vanished. There was just something so nostalgic about that line. He shook his head, chuckling. Yeah, we were both so stupid back then, huh? A searing red glare above a snarling snout. Speak for yourself. Right. The fox had been no such thing, ever. Snorting, Naruto crossed his arms over his chest and stared him down, despite the fuzzball towering overhead. Cut the bullshit. I was young enough not to know better. What's your excuse? Your mother chained me to a rock. Now he was outright growling. Naruto let him stew a little before he flashed a cheeky grin. Kachan was so freaking badass. Kurama's growl lessened as he inspected him with an evaluating glance Naruto really didn't like. Pity you only inherited her character flaws. He laughed, darkly amused, as if that was a fine example of karma and a suitable punishment for Kushina's sins. Then again, the only thing you got from Minato was his sissy boy looks. Comparing the two, that was the greater tragedy. Are you done? I could, give me your chakra, stupid fox. Chakra erupted outwards, coalescing into a flowing river of lava, a molten fusion of orange and red. From within the igneous matter, glow poured out in brilliant points of burnt orange and white-hot flame, like a red dawn, like a blood tide. Kurama, you seriously, O Verdi? Naruto's words died in his throat when it began to take shape. Threads of fire twined around fleet-footed legs, rebelling, flickering in and out of form, until a coat of rust-red fur hugged its body and gave it substance. A fox kit lay curled around his ankles, eyes blood-red and slit-pupiled, ears and tails tipped with fire chakra. It had a pair of each, Naruto numbly observed. Huh! His low grunt was swallowed by baby Kabuto's delirious cry of extraordinary! It fucking was, Naruto admitted, shock receding in favor of unbridled joy. With a manic grin, he turned to a stunned Kurama, spreading his arms wide and gesticulating madly. Look, Kurama, we made a baby! What should we name? Wait, is it a boy or a girl? The kid is male, you blind fool! The fox snapped after regaining his wits, an equally manic glint in his eye as he decreed Kuramaru. What? No! He'll be a laughingstock with that kinda name. How could you do that to our baby? Your naming sense sucks. I don't want to hear that from you. What kind of lame name is Boruto? Oh wait, I got it! We should name him Inari. I suppose that is fitting. Satisfied, Naruto bent down and scooped the now-named kid up in his arms, rubbing his cheek against his soft, furry face. Inari-chan, meet your to-chan! A series of high-pitched, almost yippee barks, which Naruto interpreted as love you, to-chan, wanna meet Ka-chan. Ignoring Kurama's incensed don't you dare and you're the mother, Naruto laughed, still showering the kit in affection. I'll introduce you to Ka-chan later. The door slid open. Baby Kabuto sprinted into the room. only to stop dead in his tracks at the sight that greeted him. Clearing his throat, he fiddled with the rim of his glasses. If you are quite finished with that sentimental display, perhaps we could return to the original purpose of this. Naruto's head snapped up. His glare dared him to finish that sentence with experiment. Baby Kabuto coughed into his tiny fist. Project. Nice save, Baby Kabuto. Sitting down, Naruto crossed his legs and let Inari curl up across his lap for a nap. Being born must have tired him out. Naruto had first-hand experience of how exhausting it was. Ugh, must repress. I dunno, man. He shuddered, grateful Baby Kabuto had given him something else to focus on. I mean, yeah, it obviously works, but you do realize it takes a fuckton of chakra, right? There's no way any of the kids can pull it off. Hell, I don't think anyone but me has the reserves for this. I could share my chakra with them, but that'd be useless in this case cause it'd still be mine. Best case scenario is Inari-chan getting more siblings out of it. Baby Kabuto didn't waste time in shooting him down, also forsook his sanity in the process. Irrelevant. And he chortled, mad as a hatter. There was delirium and shining glasses and mad science laughter, green fire chakra sparking in his eyes and over his skin, spilling from his fingertips and onto the floor. I have several theories that could bypass that issue once we measure the exact amount of flames needed. It has to be an instant release of flames, but nothing indicates it has to be instantaneously generated. That was... Fuck, that's genius! Like a single-using seal? Slowly storing up chakra until they'd gathered enough, then releasing it all in one burst? Coming down from his momentary lapse of sanity, Baby Kabuto smirked. Exactly. And it was genius, truly it was. Except, that's still not easy though. It needs damn fine control, and right now, I'd say only Kyoko-chan can maybe pull it off. Again, Baby Kabuto was quick to shoot him down, but at least he kept the madness inside him in check this time. I can modify the seal to draw out and store their flames by itself. His smirk reflected all the science degrees he had hanging on his wall. It will certainly be challenging, but I appreciate a good challenge. See, that's why you're my head of R&D. Smiling, Naruto leaned closer and slung an arm over Baby Kabuto's shoulders, pulling him onto his lap and pressed against Inari's side while he sputtered. Come on, let's go tell the kids how awesome you are. I still have to analyze the data. They'll still be here when you return. Inari must have broken the Guinness World Record for most tricks performed by a fox in 1 minute. He jumped, rolled over, chased his tails, spun around in circles, learned to recognize the kids' names, gave them his paws to shake, and finally sat pretty to be fawned over. Needless to say, his little brats were in love and chomping at the bit for their own fire chakra summons. Baby Kabuto was lavished with unintelligible words of praise, offers of assistance from the science brats, rapturous, eclipsing the sun's smiles, and grateful, squeezing the life out of him hugs. Naruto even caught a glimpse of half-drawn designs for a TARDIS replica with Dr. Verde on it before Hayato hastily hid them in his pocket. I want a mongoose. Hana's voice pierced through that lovely chaos, clear and cool and brooking no argument about her choice. It appeared to be some sort of Team B signal, because Tetsuya followed with a polite, I would like a wolverine. And Ryohei finished with a deafening, I want an extreme chimpanzee. So, 3 mammals, and judging by Baby Kabuto's nod of approval, Ryohei's choice was influenced by the science baby. Nice to see they were bonding. Team B opened the floodgates. One by one, they went back to their teams, as if it was imperative that they present a unified front during this momentous occasion. Kyoya's gaze met Kyoko's in a silent tete-a-tete. Naruto had visions of the not-so-distant future. Gods, the hormones, the eye-fucking, the territorial bullshit, the revisited, in-depth sex talk. He'd already given the perfunctory where we come from talk, but had yet to give the how we get there tips. Then, at the same time, they parted their lips. A harpy eagle. A cassowary for me. I've always wanted a dog. Takeshi smiled, cheerful as always, but it took a turn for the deadly when he specified. A Doberman. So, 2 large, exotic, vicious birds, and a dog. Somehow. Naruto was very tempted to make a walk into a bar or a bird mating dance joke, but he'd save those kind of jokes for when teenage hormones struck. Mukuro's gaze met Minyanko's, mirroring the Kyo duo, only they probably had an actual mental conversation. Also ended the same, with them speaking on top of each other. Kafufa. A python. A black mamba for me. A penguin would be my first choice. Chikusa quietly asserted, while Ken thumped his chest and boomed. Gotta be a gorilla, buy on! So, they were living up to their team name and going for circus attractions. Nothing new there. Team D, apparently, hadn't yet started working on how to coordinate better since they all tried to speak at once. I'd be happy with anything you'd like, Shodai-sama, but… Hayato was gushing, flashing Naruto puppy dog eyes and ears and tail. I'd really like and you, M.A. Haru loves kitties, Naya. It was a stroke of luck that Haru was cosplaying as a cat girl today. Naruto thought she'd leave it at that, but before he could blink, the cutesy mannerisms flatlined, and she growled out, I want a tiger. Maybe a parakeet. Shoichi was mumbling, as if he wasn't sure he wanted a fire chakra summon at all, but since everyone was dead set on getting one, then he would get the most harmless and least liable to turn on him. They're nice, I think, and smart, and they can learn how to talk? Can it be a cyborg? Spanner's face fell when Naruto shook his head, but he had been vested with the power of strawberry lollipops, so he recovered in no time. Then I'll take a raven. It can talk with Shoichi's parakeet. Maybe they'll mate and make hybrid. So, what the actual fuck? It wasn't just baby Kabuto. He'd never understand the mind of baby geniuses either. Leading Spanner to his rather disturbing oral thesis on avian crossbreeding, Naruto studied the Tiara brat, who was not so subtly sulking off to the side via mutilating one of baby Kabuto's majestic sakura trees. If you want to have an animal box weapon, we can work something out, Bell-chan. But it's gonna be expensive as hell, not to mention you gotta sign an NDA. We won't be offering this to just anyone, you feel me? Belphegor's absurdly long bangs smacked him hard in the face when he whipped around, so quick it almost broke the sound barrier. Naruto might have missed it if he hadn't been paying attention to him. Name your price, Ramen King. It will be petty cash for the prince. So, now he was dubbed the Ramen King? Naruto chuckled, musing up the Tiara brat's ridiculous hairdo, while dodging the barrage of ridiculous knives that was supposed to disguise his blush and low murmur of the prince can keep secrets. Chapter 22. A year had come and passed since their breakthrough with the fire chakra summons. Naruto had dedicated an ungodly amount of his free time to box weapons research, brainstorming with baby Kabuto and trying to design a hybrid Jinchuriki storage seal that would allow Inari to reside with Kurama instead of being stored inside a tiny box. At the furball's insistence, not that Naruto even argued against it, but it was the principle of the matter. Don't call me Kachan, his ass. He so was. Naruto hadn't missed the fox's sudden interest in subscribing to animal documentary television channels and reading How to Raise Your Young primers. Never mind that Inari, strictly speaking, wasn't a fox kit. The more fire chakra he used, the more tails he manifested, the larger his form became, until he grew up to rival Kurama's original size. They were both so proud of their baby. The kids were too. The adult club of their family, not so much. Minus baby Kabuto, he was ecstatic about everything science. In the meantime, many other pleasant developments had occurred. Baby Kabuto was kicking ass and taking names and patenting all sort of mad genius inventions. The kids were steadily storing up chakra and should be ready to summon by next year according to baby Kabuto's calculations. Shamal and Fan were officially leading teams A and B and terrorizing the Mafia world one mission at a time. Team C was on the cusp of being eligible to take the Chunin exams next summer. Team D was working as a tight-knit unit and had been quasi-adopted by baby Kabuto. Ipin was talking and walking and spreading her earless cuteness all over the place. The first Konoha annual trip was coming up, and it was unanimously agreed, parents included, they'd be spending Christmas in Australia this year. Arya was 2 months pregnant with Gamma's future miracle baby girl. Konoha's Fuinjutsu business was thriving. Imitsu, and the majority of Vongola, still had no clue. Nana was slowly but surely getting better. Namamori was the mecca of peace, scientific advancement, and prodigious shinobi youth, also had just celebrated the opening of a new ramen restaurant. Naturally, Naruto had to sample the goods. Yamaguchi's establishment in Namamori couldn't be complete until it had gained the Uzumaki seal of approval. How could he have predicted his luck would once again strike gold, perpetuating Naruto's record for saving the world via friendship, pranks, and ramen, as he later told the calmly exasperated Fan. Gotta be my awesome genes, so totally not my fault, man. All I wanted was a bowl of ramen. Or 20. Tonkatsu aken! With extra chashu. Naruto sat his ass down and slammed his palms rhythmically against the counter, all but bouncing in his seat, vaguely registering the white-haired, glasses-wearing man slurping at a sedate pace 2 stools over. "Hi! One tonkatsu with extra chashu coming up!" The old ramen chef yelled back, and 10 minutes later he was serving Naruto what had to be a Chiraka-quality ramen. The hot, spicy aroma emanating from the bowl made him salivate, and after his first taste, "Holy mother of ramen, this is delicious! I think I've died and gone to heaven." With tears in his eyes, noodles half in his mouth, half in his bowl, Naruto blathered on, overwhelmed and sending silent prayers to Tsuchiyaji for spiritually lending his culinary skills to this man. "Akin, believe me when I say your tonkatsu is the best bowl of ramen I've ever had in this lifetime." The old chef laughed, gruff and pleased, rubbing the back of his head with one hand and waving his ladle at Naruto with the other. "Oh, lad, you're laying it on a bit thick, but thank ya." Naruto was about to respond when his fellow ramen lover placed his chopsticks down and cleared his throat. "I'm sorry, I couldn't help but overhear your conversation." Naruto's brows shot up. "Overhear, really?" The whole block must have heard him. "And I have to disagree." A twitch in his left brow. "Shio ramen is by far the better dish." A pause and spasmodic twitching. "In every single way." Naruto's twitching brow froze, temper held together by thin, fraying strings, but before he could rail on this ramen heathen, Kurama flattened him with one sweat of his ginormous hand. "Careful, brat. He's not what he seems. I get the feeling he is like father." The fox's affront was transparent in his tone. It must have been galling for the fuzzball, having to compare some nobody ramen fool to his great father. Picking himself up off the ground, Naruto winced as he cracked his poor back. "You mean an alien? Could be?" Teeth gritted, tails whipping back and forth, a low, menacing growl. "Definitely not human, though." "Awesome." Groaning, Naruto finished realigning his spine, feeling the onset of a headache. "Let's hope he's more like your old man and less like his psycho family. I've had enough of alien crazies." His gaze then narrowed. Oh. It wasn't a headache, but his super intuition hammering. A light bulb went off. "You think he might be the asshole we're looking for?" Kurama's tail stilled, an intense look of concentration scrunching up his face. "More than likely," he rumbled, the fires of hatred seething hot and deep in his chakra, "or at the very least he knows who is. There couldn't be many of his kind left on Earth if he's playing human." "Yeah, that's what I thought." Nodding, Naruto smacked a fist into the center of his palm. Ramen alien was going down hard. It wasn't about the ramen, honest. He was doing this for Baby Chief. And Fawn, and Baby Kabuto, and Arya, and Gamma's baby girl. "Yosh, I got this. Watch my back. On it." And he meant that literally. Dodging another goddamn giant swat, Naruto flipped him off. Turning in his seat, he pinned Ramen Alien with a glare and thrust out his chopsticks, splatters of broth impacting Ramen Alien's face. "You take that back, you hear me? Tonkatsu is the ramen of the gods." Ramen Alien wiped off his glasses and glared back with the fickle temperament all so-called gods possessed. And thus it began. "Shio. Tonkatsu. Shiro. Tunkeotsu. Shio. Tonkatsu. Your taste buds need a reality check. Your whole brain needs a reality check. Now listen here, young man. No, you listen, old fossil. Excuse me? I'll have you know my lovely third wife happens to appreciate my ageless looks. I bet the first two did, too, before they divorced your sorry ass to escape your shitty taste in ramen. Actually, if you must know, we parted on amicable terms. We were very happy until the day they passed away." "Shit." Naruto reeled back, losing steam fast. Asshole or not, that was uncalled for. He knew it, and he still said it. Worked the way he intended to, confirming their guess. Ramen Alien had been roaming the earth for a long time if he had buried 2 wives. Also couldn't be an irredeemable asshole if he was falling in love with humans every other century. Maybe, just like the zombie police, Naruto could grow to like him after he forced him to fix this fucked up Trinacet mess and bow to his ramen expertise. "Look, man, there is no need to apologize." It was deliberate, slow, and condescending, as if forgiving this insult was a great act of mercy, and only because Naruto was a pig-ignorant human. Ramen Alien raised his head and regarded him, imperious like gods of yore. "Death is the natural way of things. All that begins must end, be it humans, animals, or planets." A sigh, a quiet, weary even guardians under his breath. "Then, if you still feel bad for offending me, I will accept an apology for your poor taste in ramen. Naruto's goodwill and the remainder of his guilt evaporated at the same time as Kurama barked out, "Ha! Father used to pull that trick on people all the time," and proceeded to laugh his ass off. "You couldn't have said that, I dunno, 30 seconds ago. Not my fault you fell for little mind tricks." Unlike Naruto, the fox might be warming up to ramen alien. Typical. Naruto shook his head. "I can't believe I fell for that." As if to twist the knife deeper, ramen alien shrugged. "Not my fault. I told no lies. Not a fucking word." He needn't have bothered. Kurama was too busy still laughing at his expense to garnish Naruto's shame with mocking commentary. "Yeah, I know." Snorting, he rolled his eyes. "Trust me, you ain't the first person to try that on me. Just been a long time since the last one. I've known lots of people like you." When ramen alien shot him an inquiring stare, Naruto's mouth quirked wryly. "Twisting the truth to your advantage while giving nothing away. Somehow, I think you have a knack for feeding people bullshit." Ramen alien shrugged again. "If you live as long as I have, you develop some peculiar habits, I'm afraid." Okay, yeah, enough, this was going a bit too far. Naruto knew ramen alien knew he wasn't that stupid, and he was still keeping up this charade, playing him for a fool and pretending they were nothing more than casual ramen frenemies. "Oh, for the love of ramen!" Clicking his tongue, Naruto stared at him, steely-eyed and utterly fed up, giving off vibes of "don't mess with me, dude, and you got nothing on the mother goddess of chakra whose ass I kicked to the motherfucking moon. Why can't you just say it like it is?" At the snarky "how do you think it is, little mortal, and enlighten me, I am dying to know" gaze he received, Naruto laid it on ramen alien, holding nothing back. "You go bats hit crazy. Your mind gets so messed up that one day you wake up and decide it's cool to curse people right and left and put chakra-sucking abominations around their neck." Finally, ramen alien dropped the act. His features rearranged themselves into a resigned sort of indifference, the kind accumulated through eons of living among a different race, with different values and ideals, different strengths and weaknesses, and watching as humanity unfailingly self-destructed. "I would insult both of us if I asked how you acquired this knowledge." "Oh, so now you care about insulting each other? Don't make me laugh. But please do not pretend to understand how heavy." "Yeah, no. Naruto'd heard enough 5 minutes ago. Now this was just piling bullshit on more bullshit. Don't even try to justify it with some bullshit reason about saving Mother Earth. Nothing is worth ruining people's lives for." Ramen alien sighed that quiet, weary sigh, reminiscent of that sacrifices must be made and balance must be maintained spiel Arya had once recited, only ramen alien wholeheartedly supported it. "What would you have had me do?" Naruto sighed too, his "I can't believe I have to explain it to you" sigh. "If your way is hurting people, then you find another way. And if there's no other way, then you make one. Simple as that." "Ah." A chuckle, tired and soft, but rough in places. Ramen alien cupped his cheek and leaned against the counter, gazing at him as he spoke with this wistful edge to his voice. "I envied the tenacity of mortals, their resolve to preserve life when they fathomed the gravity of it. I could never quite grasp from where that unshakable belief stemmed. Immutable as death, such strength of will, but perhaps that is the way of things as well. Who knows? Souls might be eternal. It might only be memories that pass into oblivion. Pity it has become such a rare trait these days." Inwardly, Naruto facepalmed, while Kurama growled, a surly stop-stealing father's lines expression on his face. After maybe 2 minutes of stilted silence, Naruto coughed and said, drier than Suna's desert, "Flattery will get you nowhere." Ramen alien smiled, a faint twist of lips, as if amused by Naruto's how to break awkward silences with inappropriate humor proficiency. Still humored him though, because he had years of experience when it came to indulging mortals and their silliness. "I'm happily married. But does your third wife feel the same? Till death do us part. Then it's time for wife number 4, right? Man, are you the poster boy for make love, not war. What can I say? I'm a lover, not a fighter." Funny thing that Naruto's fox-like grin promised lots of fun was in store for ramen alien, the night of the living dead kind of fun. "You see, there are some people who've been dying to fight you for ages now. Man, they'll be so disappointed. That was in bad taste." Ramen alien drawled out, still faintly amused. "Even worse than your taste in ramen." But getting the point and going along with it, probably because he could vamoose any time he felt like it if things got ugly. "I resent that." Naruto scoffed, jutting his chin out. My puns are awesome. But do the Vinnies feel the same? Why don't we ask them, If we must. Good answer, lover boy. I try, pig lover. It was smooth sailing from there on. Naruto suggested Baby Kabuto's mansion as their place of meeting, in 2 days' time, to which Ramen Alien agreed without fuss. As they paid and stood to leave, Ramen Alien smiled. My name is Kawahira. I rather enjoyed meeting you. Naruto could tell he meant it, and well, the honest truth was, name's Naruto. I'd like to say it was nice meeting you, but that'll depend on where things go from here. Ramen Alien seemed to know that too. With one last rueful smile, he vanished into thin air. Naruto banged his head against the counter. Had to be a fucking genjutsu monster alien, huh? Just his luck. Now, how to break the news to Baby Chief? Sawada Tsunayoshi. Naruto wanted to sigh, but didn't. Calling out his full name had become Baby Chief's standard greeting. But he was the man who didn't know the meaning of giving up, so he persevered with his usual greeting. A beaming grin and a challenge. Sticking with the whole name thing, huh? One of these days, Bermuda-san, perhaps. Baby Chief's cat-like head slant followed right on schedule, along with the cold side of mirth and references, more like digs, to Ayasu. Bear in mind your ancestor failed in this particular endeavor. Kind of bugged, but not taking it to heart, because that was just how the zombie baby was. Naruto jabbed his thumb at his chest. Naruto, not Ayasu, say it with me. Of course, Baby Chief did no such thing, and Naruto went on as if he had. Like usual. Anyway, don't freak out, but I might have sorta stumbled across that asshole we talked about the first time we met? And oh, Ramen Alien might actually miss the movie premiere, because Naruto had first row seats, and he hadn't even paid to watch Night of the Living Dead. Where? A cracked, rasping breath, a lattice of shrieking, writhing chains, shadow and fire, death and gripping, bitter loathing. A ramen restaurant. And he laughed, boisterous and come on, laugh with me, I know you want to. Baby Chief did not laugh. Naruto kept laughing as he watched the closing credits, which extended for almost 10 minutes. Look, I'm not kidding, promise. I even got him to agree meeting with you and discussing your past grievances, but he gave me the impression he's just humoring us. Asshole's just that type of wily bastard. Also his taste in ramen sucks. So hear me out. A hand clap, loud and echoing, and trust me, I know what I'm doing. I have a master plan. Baby Chief's silence betrayed the degree of his faith in Naruto's skill at foiling alien trickster gods and masterminding shit, deader than his zombie gang. Come on, man, you gotta work with me here. Fuck, wait, I know. I'll throw you an awesome party. Hell yeah, it'll be a royal feast. Jaeger and Jack and the entire force are invited. We can make it a my people meet your people kinda thing. I've been waiting to meet the rest of your crew since last summer. Or gimme a sec, need to think, aha. You can join our worldwide tour with Gesso. Ranchan'll totally love it if you come with us. And you can, maybe, sunbathe and keep order and arrest shitty mafia dudes and fun stuff like that. All over the world. Bastard's not gonna stick around for an epic beatdown, alright, that's just not him. Who knows when we'll get a chance like this again. So just let me do the talkin'? At least until he agrees to our terms about the whole Triniset mess. And if it doesn't work out, you can try it your way. Deal? Naruto's plan was so obvious it should have been filed under stupidest ideas ever. In theory, Academy kids could have seen through it. In practical application, plans of this nature always worked. Or at least they did for him. Because nobody expected his fucked up logic or his penchant for using prank jutsu on psycho alien gods during apocalyptic crises. It was the shock factor that usually got them, that single moment of fucking glorious surrealism, that you can't be serious and am I seeing this shit right now and what the actual fuck, dude? As he kept reminding everyone, cough, Sasuke, cough, Kagaya had once fallen for his sexy reverse harem jutsu, so it was after they had gotten all the bad blood out of the way, after Baby Chief had cussed Ramen Alien out in all the languages he knew, and he knew a fucking lot, after Ramen Alien had skimmed through Naruto's ideas for substituting the pacifiers with self-sustaining fire chakra sources and Baby Kabuto's notes on how to go about doing that. After they had all agreed to give it a fucking try and Baby Chief had vacated the premises and Ramen Alien was about to pull a disappearing act, that Naruto said, grinning and deceptively carefree. And where do you think you're going? Ramen Alien, the poor, confused soul, blinked. Home to my lovely wife? Yeah, about that. Naruto faked a sympathetic wince, dragging out the words. The Venice might be satisfied with just seizing your toys. No, not really. Naruto's throat had been a raw, bleeding mess by the time Baby Chief relented, which made for the cherry on top of this clusterfuck. But I won't be until I give you the ass-kicking you deserve. A bloodthirsty look flitted across his face, spiraling into his grin, eager and cunning like the revenge of a kitsune. Ironic, isn't it? Ramen Alien faked a pained smile. Can we not? Naruto's grin grew fangs. Loser has to admit his taste in ramen sucks. Ramen Alien did a 180 turn, all trickster smiles and revved up and ready to throw down, indigo fire chakra spiking, passing the message you and me, right now, right here, let's do this. I gladly accept this fight. Kurama covered his face with his tails, as if deeply embarrassed for this fool, a telltale sign his father might have also fallen for Naruto's bullshit once upon a time. Portals opened throughout the room, coincidentally, the same specially reinforced room Inari was born in, and the Vind Ice glided through in droves, down to the last zombie minion. We shall be assisting Konoha as recompense for the debt we owe. Baby Chief had a flair for legalese and grandstanding and blue-blooded shit. Naruto. Oh, Naruto's grin was so large it almost split his face in two. I knew you'd come around, Baby Chief. We're so getting smashed in Sydney this Christmas, hell yeah. I believe I shall join as well. Vaughn's smile was the quintessence of killing you calmly. It is unseemly of a guardian to stand idle while their sky fights, after all. I will provide support. It will be an excellent opportunity to test out the prototype mist disruption seals. Baby Kabuto's mad scientist glee traveled through the speakers, then there was some static and struggling sounds before it swapped places with Shamil's so done with your bullshit sufferance. Goddammit, Volpe. Guys, a mist, you need one to fight one. Count me in. Ramen Alien took in Naruto's gung-ho grin, Vaughn's deathly calm smile, Baby Chief's space-time fuckery, the zombie minions rattling chains, assessed the situation and had one thing to say. You set me up. Naruto had lots of things to say. Not so nice when people play mean tricks on you, now is it? Someone has to teach you the difference between a good prank and just being an asshole. Don't worry, I'll buy you ramen after the lesson sinks in. You'd better. Ramen Alien chuckled, dry and edgy, but amused all the same. I want Shio. Chapter 23. Inari appeared in a flash of fire, perched on Naruto's shoulder, nuzzling his neck and yipping into his ear. Scratching below his jaw, Naruto laughed. You want to join the fight, Inari-chan? An affirmative, thrilled bark. Alright, but we've got allies and need space to move around, so no higher than 4 tails, K? Just as Inari jumped off, somersaulting high in the air, Ramen Alien cleared his throat. Please refrain from recruiting innocent woodland critters. His brows knitted into a stern frown of disapproval. I don't like hurting small animals. Naruto tilted his head back, gazing upwards, inviting Ramen Alien to copy his motion. Both kept watching as Inari's body grew larger and larger, until it became a mass of blood-red fur, a wild blaze of fire chakra. The fox landed behind him on all fours, fangs bared in a vulpine grin and tails on fire, and casting sweeping shadows across the floor. Lowering his head, Naruto's gaze connected with Ramen Alien's, his grin identical to Inari's. What about large animals? Still disapproving, but for different reasons, Ramen Alien smiled deadpan. Now that is just not fair. All's fair in love and war. Touché. Naruto ducked under yet another handcrafted in the forges of hell weapon, a fucking jagged sawtoothed chakram, vaulted over yet another way too human-like doll, a goddamn tall-hatted magician boy, and kept running until he sort of slipped on a hooked screw and skidded to a halt before Baby Chief, who was warping shit like nobody's business. Yo, Bermuda! He huffed, catching his breath. Don't take this the wrong way, but your whole crew has a few screws loose. So far, Friendly Fire had better chances of doing him in than Ramen Alien. Baby Chief gave him a regal slant of his head. Fret not, he droned, dare Naruto say it, reassuringly. We shall retrieve them after the battle has been concluded. That's not what I meant. Naruto glanced at Fan. Hey man, let's try a combi jutsu on the tip of his tongue, then did a double take, orange fire chakra fizzling out. Oh Fan, I know we're missing lunch and all, I'm also hungry man, but are you seriously gonna stop to eat? Because his Storm Guardian had just whipped out some garlic meat buns like they were in the middle of a picnic, or some shit. Like right now? Fan shot him an unamused stare. Gyoza Kempo is a legitimate technique that numbs the brain and causes involuntary muscle movements. An abiding calm, a world-renowned martial artist's dignity. Say what you will, for you cannot shame me rolling off of him in waves. For real? Huh. Can you do the same with, if you say ramen, I will tell my sister it was you who ate her persimmons. That was Kyo-chan, and you damn well know it. Do I? Fawn smiled, more like gloated, then took a small bite, rushing forward with an open palm. Grumbling under his breath, Naruto turned away and left Fawn to his gyoza nintaijutsu heresy. Who the hell would look at garlic meat buns and go, yeah, so fucking badass, I'ma screw people's brains with this shit? Why not ramen? He wasn't the only one disappointed. From across the room, Ramen Alien shared a commiserating look with Naruto, before taking Fawn's gyoza fist head-on and shaking it off in less than half a second. Yeah, see right there? If it had been ramen, he could have followed it up with a noodle wire trap or something. A fucking laser beam singed the tips of Naruto's spiky hair, a little above his right ear, as it passed him by, incinerating the loose sleeve of Shamel's white coat, only stopping when it ran into Jaeger's warp hole and got swallowed by the abyss. Scowling, Naruto snarled into his earpiece. Verde, why is your mini Death Star targeting me? Apologies, the homing device has been set to target the flames with the highest degree of purity. Baby Kabuto's voice was as contrite as it was baffled. I erroneously assumed that would have been Checker Face's mist flames. It will be remedied shortly. No more was said, but 15 minutes later, he was sporting a new haircut a la laser coiffure. Shamel's coat was a lost cause, Baby Chief's fire chakra was wrapped around his head like a space bubble, and Naruto was snarling into his earpiece again. It's still targeting me. Apologies, I adjusted it to target the greatest source of flames. Baby Kabuto's voice was now more baffled, less contrite. His ID loved to study what the fuck you are mad scientist tone. Another erroneous assumption on my part, it would seem. Just fix it, man, before I erroneously assume it's been taken over by the Genjutsu alien. Rasengan forming in one hand, he stared up into the camera with a dark glower. You won't like what I'll do to it then. Understood. Shamal shook his head, frustrated. It's no use, Volpe. I can't sense him at all. Just where could he have gone? Naruto knew the pervert would get his ass handed to him if he engaged Ramen Alien in single combat with Indigo Fire Chakra mindfuckery, but he was a top-notch sensor and damn invaluable when Ramen Alien fucking transformed the whole room into jungles and deserts and whatnot, and played hide-and-seek, and he played it a fucking lot. They'd spend more time sniffing him out than actually fighting him. If Shamal claimed Ramen Alien wasn't around, then he wasn't around. Problem was, he couldn't have left either. His larger-than-life, ramen, pride wouldn't let him. With that thought in mind, Naruto turned his focus inwards. And grinned. Somewhere he'll regret ever going. Game over, Ramen Alien. Why, hello there, said the fox to the alien, welcome to my parlor. A low, sadistic purr, breath hot and fanning over Ramen Alien's face. Naruto lay atop Kurama's head, whistling a jaunty tune, watching the show with a shit-eating grin. Oh, hello, Ramen Alien smiled. But it was mechanical, voice reedy and chock full of shock, beads of sweat clinging to his upper lip. Sorry to have disturbed you. Had I been aware Naruto's mindscape was occupied, I wouldn't have so rudely intruded. Here, he gave Naruto a black look. Naruto gave him a wave, devil-may-care and mouthing neat Inari's Kachan, which made Ramen Alien minutely boggle and balk at the hows and whys of that revelation. Pretty sure that short-circuited the synapses in his brain. Kurama also waved, missing the byplay. It's no bother. Still low and purring, sadistic glee carved into his vocal cords. I enjoy entertaining visitors, I assure you. Yes, well. Coughing into his fist, Ramen Alien wiped cold sweat off his skin, trying to backtrack while seeming nonchalant. I believe I'll be taking my leave now. No, please stay. One of Kurama's gigantic hands came down lightning fast, trapping Ramen Alien between his clawed index and middle fingers, red fire chakra bubbling up, winding around Ramen Alien's ankles and keeping him grounded. I insist. I'd love to, honestly, but I'm afraid I can't, Ramen Alien rambled on, sort of quietly frantic, in a state of low-key panic, Indigo Fire Chakra attacking the fox's chakra to no avail. Alien trickster god he might be, but he was no Otsutsuki and thus stood no chance in hell against the crushing pressure of Kurama's undiluted Biju chakra. As far as Naruto knew, in a battle of raw chakra, only the Uzumaki chains or the Mokuton could go toe-to-toe with that. For the record, Ramen Alien had no such illustrious ancestry. Places to go, humans to trick, you know how it is. Aliens to eat, Kurama tagged on, a deep, malicious laugh and a snapping of teeth. Yes, I do know. Let's not, let's. Ramen Alien's last resort was sending Naruto a pitiful help me my comrade in ramen plea. Naruto's reply was uproariously laughing in his face. Baby Chief, Fawn, and Baby Kabuto gave new meaning to the phrase kicking someone when they're down, as evidenced by the epic ass-kicking they delivered when Kurama also gently spat Ramen Alien out. At the speed of light, too. Like one moment, there was a black meteor fall and a red dragon fire dance and a raging bolt of green thunder, all meshing in a vortex of holy motherfucking shit. Then next moment, Naruto blinked, and it was over. Standing over Ramen Alien's bruised, charred, sliced, worn-out body, Naruto grinned and extended his arm. Say it. Ramen Alien clasped his elbow, wincing as Naruto pulled him up to his feet, chuckling in between pained, breathy gasps. Must I? You ain't leaving till you say it. Naruto wasn't an asshole though, so Ramen Alien wasn't leaving until he was semi-healed either. No need to scare his poor third wife half to death, coming home like he just fought a titan battle and lost. It didn't matter if he could just conceal everything under an illusion. Unsealing his medical supplies, Naruto started disinfecting visible wounds and bandaging this and that and being the bitchin' nurse Ramen Alien never wanted but ended up getting anyway. Ramen Alien wore the face of someone who just wanted to get this over with, go home to his lovely wife and have 10 bowls of Shio ramen, forget this ever happened or he'd ever met Naruto. But not really. A sigh, defeated, as if the pain from losing their bet was worse than the pain racking his body. My taste in ramen leaves much to be desired. You're damn right it does. Naruto beamed, then flooded him with yellow fire chakra, letting him direct it to his internal injuries. Ramen next Sunday? Despite the sting to his split lips, Ramen Alien smiled. His "you amuse me mortal so I'll indulge you" smile. Well, you did promise to pay. Don't complain when the bill comes. Naruto snorted, and yeah, he might have bandaged Ramen Alien's left arm a bit too tight. Please, you got nothing on me. Ramen Alien's bicep flexed in protest, his smile becoming sharp, challenging. Shall we put it to the test? You're on. Naruto slapped him on the back, but not too hard, a light, friendly tap. Once he finished playing bitchin' nurse, he sealed what supplies remained and used and grinned, getting one last dig in. By the way, Kurama says you can visit him anytime you want. The cutting edge to Ramen Alien's smile dissolved in a fragment of a second. A dull, mechanical thing took its place. I will keep it in mind. Naruto huffed a laugh. You do that. Think we finally got it right? Naruto surveyed the newest version of the Triniset device closely, 7 interconnected rings, based on the design of the Olympic flag, each ring a hollow vessel, large as a satellite dish, and engraved with a sealing formula. Yes, I believe it should function without issue now, provided the Vindai Sarcobolino is amenable to the idea of supplying his flame of night. Baby Kabuto's voice held a mixture of amazement and fragile hope. Hidden behind thin, round lenses, purple eyes roved over the rings with a hungry sort of desperation that Naruto could see all too clearly. Yeah, no problem. Bermuda's not the type to go back on his word. Baby Kabuto's gaze slid away from the device, slow and reluctant, as if the moment he took his eyes off of the miracle he beheld, it might disappear along with the blueprints. He chose to stare at Naruto instead, who was in and of himself a miracle, a living, breathing irregularity, the single variant he could never explain, aberrant yet integral to the equation. No, really. Baby Kabuto had drawn diagrams and charts and mathematical shit that quantified the fuckery Naruto's existence had brought into his life ever since he entered it. Insolvable was triple circled in neon green ink at the bottom of each sheet. It was truly ingenious of you, I must admit. It was pure logic. Naruto shrugged, because it wasn't that genius, just a natural thought process for those who studied Fuinjutsu. Ero Sennin, the incurable pervert, could have come up with the general concept even half-drunk with his face buried between a lusty pair of thighs. No offense, but the Arcobolino are basically living chakra batteries. In the end, you're bound to run out of chakra and die. If you want to have something last forever, then you gotta seal it and mess with space-time. Can't run out if it's trapped and constantly being cycled through warp holes, now can it? Bermuda's fire chakra has that unique ability. Sorta ironic, yeah? True. Baby Kabuto gave a minuscule nod, falling silent, contemplative. Minutes passed before he opened his mouth to voice a pointed, begrudging question. Still, do you think it wise entrusting this matter to Checker Face? This made for the fourth person to ask. Naruto sighed, and told Baby Kabuto what he had told Fawn. And Baby Chief. And Arya. He's the administrator, so he gotta be the one to do it. Not only will it sound believable coming from him, but it also covers up our involvement. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm glad they're gonna be free of this curse, but the truth is... Naruto's gaze seared right through the glass that obscured Baby Kabuto's eyes. Absolute honesty, and look at me, this is who I am, this is what I care for. I did it for you. I did it for Fawn, for Arya and her baby girl. I did it for Bermuda and our family. Baby Kabuto swallowed thickly, but didn't draw his gaze away, kept staring, struggling to understand the emotional intricacies beneath the surface. What relevance do your motives hold? The end result is all that matters. Nah, you don't get it. What I'm trying to say here is... Naruto paused, deliberating how to articulate his reasoning. When he spoke again, he was careful with his choice of words, but not shying away from hard truths. Kawahira, while being an asshole and going about it the wrong way, did his damn job right. Even if I hadn't found another way, the planet would have kept on going cause of his Triniset system, so it's not like we saved the world. We just saved a few people, and yeah, that matters to me and you and them, but apart from that, did we really change anything in the grand scheme of things? A grimace marred Baby Kabuto's face, as if he had just bitten into something sour, but instead of spitting it out, he swallowed it whole. I concede your point. Naruto knew how much that hurt to admit. He hated it, too. People's lives weren't toys, shouldn't be used as fodder for the world's survival. He smiled to ease away the hurt in his truth, to break apart the acid in Baby Kabuto's stomach. There's no need to get more involved than we've already been. I'm not trying to hide what we did, but I'm not gonna come out and take credit for it either. What difference will it make? They don't owe me anything, so they shouldn't feel like they do. A pondering silence, still staring, tracing the framework of his decisions, the base elements of his character, what made Naruto tick. Then, your thought processes are quite fascinating. There was, indeed, quite a bit of fascination to his tone, glasses blindingly glinting, and damn it, Baby Kabuto, we were having a moment here. Don't ruin it with your mad scientist alter ego. Naruto sucked in a breath, kind of amused, kind of irked, all warm exasperation, and you awkward bastard. Now I feel like you just want to dissect my brain or something. You need to work on your compliments, man. Baby Kabuto blinked. Oh. Naruto hummed. Yeah. That was not my intention. Fidgeting with his glasses, hella uncomfortable, Baby Kabuto fell back into old habits. Although, I would be happy to conduct a series of psychometric tests, and yeah, mad science mode going at full throttle, social norms be damned, because if something couldn't be measured in known numerical values, like, say, 5.3 kilograms of tact, it was of little import, read, unfathomable, to Baby Kabuto. You also need to work on your jokes. I rarely jest. Sadly, I do know, but good interpersonal communication says you gotta in this case. Blink. Oh. Yeah. Then, how? It was, Naruto realized after taking the time to think it through, not only a legitimate question, but one of those with no right or wrong answer. What worked for him might not necessarily work for Baby Kabuto. Also, since when was life coaching baby-fied grown-ass men in his job description? But what the hell, he'd done a pretty bang-up job raising his little ducklings so far. How hard could it be? Naruto shrugged, winging it. Fake it till you make it? And lo and behold, under Naruto's encouragement, Baby Kabuto imbibed that profound piece of advice, taking his first baby step in freestyle funnies. I have zero interest in your illogical, yet morally outstanding, thought processes. A backhanded compliment, maybe, wrapped in a joke, or what constituted as one in the language Baby Kabuto spoke. From a scientific standpoint, that is. Which, okay, lame, but B+ for carrying out a textbook dramatic pause before the punchline. Thanks, man. Naruto flashed him a sunny smile and a thumbs up. See, that's how you do it. Baby Kabuto had this bewildered look, as if he had preemptively deemed their social experiment a failure, and didn't know what to do with success. So Naruto glomped him. Sad thing was, that awkward bastard didn't know what to do with human contact either. Except, is being excessively tactile a prerequisite for building healthy interpersonal relationships? Christmas in Australia was summerish. Giglio Nero had surprised them with their last-minute decision to tag along, but they were a welcome addition, especially since Gamma covered for Xiaomao. Pervert had gone off on a beach bender, by resuming captaincy of Team A while they were cavorting in the wild. Little brats, mostly the Kyo duo, wanted to go on an Australian bird safari. Team C had similar ideas of a venomous creatures/poisonous plants gathering expedition, which Arya was gracious enough to lead in Naruto's stead. Team B was sightseeing, while Fawn was teaching Ipin how to swim. Ryohei had loudly rhapsodized over the joys of shark cage diving but had been outvoted, and Team D was studying the climate change with the ultimate goal of writing an expository essay on global warming. And Naruto. Naruto was with Byakuren, Inari curled around his shoulders, Baby Chief riding on top of his head, roaming the streets on a ramen quest, sampling Australian delicacies, and beating the shit out of any scumbag they randomly encountered. Case in point, a little runt just ran out of an alley and smack into Naruto's knees, being chased by 3 mafia thugs. They were wearing pinstripe suits, also cursing in Italian, couldn't get any more mafia than that. Glancing up at him for the merest second, honey brown eyes wide and cheeks tear-streaked, then diving behind Naruto's legs and latching onto the fabric of his pants with a death grip. Where did that little shit go? Fuck, boss will skin us alive if we lose him again. Hey, isn't that the brat, looking for me? Naruto sing-songed, which prompted Byakuren's garbled. Or me? Around a mouthful of cotton candy sorbet, and Baby Chief rattling off. Sabatini, small famiglia stationed in Palermo, 2 previous minor infractions. What is the reason for your presence in Sydney? Silence, and 3 terror-filled stares directed at Baby Chief. Naruto's patience broke when the boy's hiccups intensified, his grip trembling even as it became tighter. Oi, spaghetti dudes! We're the Sabatini Famiglia! They shot back in unison, their Vindus-induced paralysis infinitesimally allayed, bodies shaking half in fear, half in anger. Whatever. Naruto snorted, rolling his eyes. You're still weak noodles. Now answer the damn question before I make meatballs out of you all. I'll add the tomato sauce. Byakuren was grinning and holding up a bottle of ketchup. Like, seriously, from where? But Baby Chief had other ideas and even less patience than Naruto. The ingredients are rotten to the core. Thus spoke Baby Chief as he passed judgment on the dregs of pasta mafia, wrapping it up with one command of Jaeger. Again in unison, and total fear. Wait, we can explain. It matters not. Baby Chief was unmoved, Jaeger's chains already on the prowl, despite the pasta mafia trio's pathetic attempts at evasion. Damn, Jaeger sure worked fast. You are hereby charged with aggravated stalking, second-degree kidnapping, and solicitation of a minor for immoral purposes. Second degree? Solace I what? We're not child molesters. 5 years in Vendicare should cure you of such depraved inclinations. If you display exemplary behavior, you will become eligible for a parole hearing and may be able to secure an early release. Take them away, Jaeger. While they were being dragged kicking and screaming through the portal, Naruto hollered. We're having barbecue on the beach tonight, Jaeger. Don't forget to tell the others. In the middle of chain gagging them, Jaeger paused for a moment. A will totally be their dip of his head, then the portal closed. So, kid. Turning to the sniffling boy, Naruto gently unlatched him from his pants and ruffled his hair, waiting as the runt dried off his tears with the back of his sleeve. Why were they chasing you? They wanted information on Konoha. He mumbled, cheeks red and puffy as his eyes. Wait, what? Was this runt for real? What in the name of ramen would make those pasta morons think this 6-year-old was a super spy agent? Naruto gave him a slow once-over, up and down, lingering on his stick-like limbs and big doe eyes and cuteness-ismy face, and yeah, he was still not seeing it. And they thought you had it? Byakuren, who had finished his sorbet and was now sucking on his gelato stick, suddenly perked up. Oh, I know you! You're that new kid who's supposed to rank stuff, foo something stars. No, wait, stars, Hoshi? Eureka! He pointed his gelato stick at the embarrassed boy, purple eyes gleaming in victory, and pronounced, all pizzazz and drama and Baudemai genius. Fu Manchu Hashimanjuro! In a complete turnabout, the boy's expression went flat, eyes narrowed into slits, voice cold and clipped. It's Feuded de la Stella. Not that it registered with Byakuren, who thought being the brainchild of a fictional villain and a volcanic mountain was a great honor, and who was ostensibly very proud of himself for coming up with that bullshit name. That's what I said. No shame whatsoever, grinning, poking the boy's chest with his gelato stick. Fu-chan! A deep blush spread over the boy's features, ears burning, almost steaming. Let me guess. Naruto cut in before baby villain Mount Fu erupted, diverting Byakuren's attention with a chocolate bar. You ranked us, liked what you saw, decided we could offer you protection, and told those guys where we'd be, so they'd bring you here. How does that even work? Still flushed, but shyly smiling, Fuda ducked his head while peeking up at him. I ranked where you'd want to go on a Christmas vacation this year, then told them you were too far away to make any accurate rankings. And the noodles bought it. Smart thinking, kid? Chuckling, Naruto ruffled his hair again, which Fuda apparently interpreted as an adoption pitch. So you'll take me in? Boy, was he all dough brown eyes, large and glimmering with hope, and oh, maybe they'd make an infiltration specialist out of him yet. The potential was definitely there. Naruto hummed, but it was pretty much a done deal by now. Kid had tracked them down all the way to Australia, for Sage's sake. What else was there to say besides? You got no family? A head shake, sad but firm. Nobody who cares. Well, alright then, Fu-chan. Welcome to the family. We have. Naruto never got to finish, because Byakuren decided that flinging himself at the boy was an excellent way of burying the hatchet and welcoming him to the allied family. Any Fu-chan. Draped over Fuda's shoulders with no regard for personal space or the boy's reddening, smoking ears, he chirped. What's my #1 ranking? It was, perhaps, retaliation on his part when, contrary to the explosion Naruto anticipated was due any moment now, Fuda calmed down, inhaled deep in his lungs and nodded. Then his face blanked. And the universe glitched. Like there were stars in his eyes and zero gravity and interplanetary radio shit. Gesso Byakuren is ranked #1 most likely to take over the world with an army of marshmallow fluff. And to that, all Naruto could say was, sounds about right. Baby Chief, on the other hand, was a staunchly pragmatic man, and thus more concerned about the current universe glitch than Byakuren's future stint as a marshmallow dictator. Also, he might have been a tad pissed off that his beloved hat was floating away. No further rankings shall be attempted without our consent. A black chain swayed in front of the boy's face like a rattlesnake before it flew off in pursuit of his hat. Fuda gulped. Sure. By 7:30 the beach party was in full swing. Naruto was about to switch with Fan, since it was his turn to work the grill, when Gamma grabbed the karaoke mic and cleared his throat. May I have your attention, please? What followed was 80 minutes of pomp and show, Teams A through D taking turns and demonstrating the depths of Gamma's devotion via war dances, Shakespearean plays, circus acts, and amateur films, ending with Gamma getting down on one knee, a diamond ring, and a hormonal aria bursting into tears. About damn time! Congrats! Naruto expressed his joy at the news with a hearty I'm so happy for you hug for Arya and by shoving a here have a well done sausage hot dog down Gamma's throat. You sure went all out, man. Actually, Gamma managed to spit out once he stopped choking. I did very little all told. The girls planned the whole thing and the boys did the heavy lifting. Catching the beer bottle Naruto threw at him, he paused to uncork it and shrugged. I just popped the question. Naruto laughed as they clinked their bottles. She's gonna pop out your baby, so I'd say you did a hell of a lot. Tell me about it. Gamma groaned, but he was smiling when he raised his beer, kept smiling even while taking a swig. Speaking of Naruto-kun, Arya all but leaped onto his lap, knocking the wind out of him, and damn, were pregnant women like a force of nature. You'll be the godfather, right? Huh! Out of breath, Naruto steadied himself while she made herself comfortable, trying to process her words. When it finally sank in, his mind was blown away. You want me? Well, of course. Who else, you silly man? The way she was laughing at him, amused, knowingly, told him he was an idiot for thinking he'd dodged this seer-fathering business. Oh, no, one way or another, he was gonna be her baby daddy. Gamma and I want the best for our baby girl. In case it wasn't clear enough, that means you. Naruto was so fucking touched he could cry. No, really, he kinda was. I'd be honored. Gamma held up a hand. Wait, don't cry just yet. Grabbing the camera, he turned on the flash and gave him the go-ahead. Okay, now. Naruto's brow arched drily. Blow me, only if I get to watch. Was Arya's sole stipulation. Gamma spluttered, red-faced and glaring at Naruto as if he was mentally willing him to self-combust, because blaming his pregnant fiancée was a big no-no. See what you've created? Who are you kidding, dude? His mouth split into a wickedly crooked grin. Arya's always been sex on legs. Arya chortled. Naruto patted her thigh, all the while shooting Gamma a "you still have much to learn" look. Don't worry, we've got your back. We'll throw you an awesome bachelor party. Trust me, you'll learn all sorts of kinky. A beer bottle came hurtling towards him. I hate you, kid. Leaning to the side as it sailed over his head, Naruto laughed. I know you love me deep down. Also, now you gotta pick that up. No littering. Gamma grumbled about the cheekiness of the new generation, but did so. Naruto nudged Arya's leg as they watched him clean up after everyone while simultaneously berating them. Have you thought of a name yet? She smiled that unbearably tender smile she'd once given him 2 years ago, taking his hand and placing it on the bulging curve of her abdomen. Her other hand closed around the orange pacifier she still wore as a reminder of what they had gone through to get where they now were. Her daughter would hear the story, yes, but she would never bear the burden of it. Yuni. It was around the time she should start making her presence known, Naruto thought as he tried to feel her, a light caress, a promise. Yuni-chan, this is your awesome godfather. I can't wait to meet you, so hurry up and come. I'm gonna teach you how to kick ass and have fun, believe it. Gamma, who had come back from picking up the trash just in time to catch the end of Naruto's speech, shook his head in despair. That's what I'm afraid of. Yuni chose that precise moment to kick. Naruto grinned. Too late. Chapter 24. Yuni was born on the eve of May Day like something out of pagan lore, all joyful cries and flowers tattooed on her skin and fires burning away the dark of the night to pave the way for her arrival. It was love at first sight for Naruto, and everyone else, down to the last Giglio Nero member. She was passed around and welcomed home, being cooed over and receiving all sorts of blessings. Byakuran won that contest hands down when he promised her queenship in his marshmallow-conquered world, and many, many cutesy endearments. Kyoya won this one when he bestowed on her the title Little Karasu Uchiha for the color of her eyes, which Kyoko shortened to Uchiha-chan. When it was his turn, Naruto smiled down at her sleeping face as he slowly dragged his fingers along the smooth baby skin of her cheek, and promised her all that her heart desired. Somehow, he thought she heard him. There was some minor debate about her last name since the proud parents were still engaged. Arya chose vanity over love and dug her heels in, refusing to walk down the aisle until she could fit back into her old clothes, so the wedding was scheduled for the week following after the second Chunin exams. She didn't ask for Gamma's opinion. Neither did Naruto when he proclaimed himself his best man and went all out with the preparations for his bachelor party. Actually, nobody took the groom's quite vocal objections into account. And he had many. Champagne glass in his hand, sprawled out across his throne chair, Naruto gazed down at the arena. The Chunin exam stadium was 3/4 full by now, a ring of enthused roars and suit-clad bodies, infused with the zest of competition and pandemonium. He guessed it had become full after people were done placing last-minute bets. The contestants' profiles were being displayed on the central screen for that reason. Except for the brand-new gambling option and the reworked Fuinjutsu catalog, nothing had changed, including the universe pissing on his party via ear-splitting, blade-swinging, pissed-off sword psycho. Voy. Ramen trash. I've got a bone to pick with you. Naruto sighed and gave his glass a slow twist. Yeah? What about? Bell's fucking demon of a pet. Squall fell into a luxurious sort of sprawl, pouring himself a glass of champagne, though the intensity of his glare contradicted his languid posture. Brat's been keeping his mouth shut, which is another thing that pisses me off, but I know it was you who gave him that Siamese Hellcat. Half the Storm Division's been mauled to death by that thing. My desk is cluttered with transfer requests. If this keeps up, only the senior agents will be left by the end of the year. For fuck's sake, sword psycho. Naruto threw his head back and tossed his drink down his throat, drowning his groan of pure frustration in champagne. Screw that loud bastard and his propensity for dramatics and long-winded speeches and bold as you fucking please endgames. You know what? We're not fucking doing this again. Let's skip the hour-long drama and get to the damn point, yeah? Refilling his glass, Naruto looked at him squarely, no nonsense and fed up and cut the crap, you goddamn Hozuki ripoff. You want one? Caught aback by his so done with your drama attitude, Squallow's eyes bulged, jaw dropping. After a few seconds of gaping like a fish, he clicked his tongue, giving in with a forced nod. TCH. You bet your ass I do. Okay, look. How should I put this? Naruto rubbed his chin between two fingers, biting back his instinctive response that basically amounted to, too bad, so sad, you ain't getting one. It wasn't as if he hadn't expected Squallow's request, but he'd been hoping Shama'd somehow wind up dealing with the Varia since he more or less handled all the diplomatic shit. Problem was, Naruto sucked at letting people down gently, not to mention Squallow wasn't the sort of person to go down without a hell of a fight. The least he could do was to give the bastard something real. Despite your goddamn fetish for theatrics, oddly enough, I kinda like you, which is the only reason I'm willing to do business with the Varia at all, but fire chakra summons are a precious commodity. His gaze clashed with Squallow's in a battle of wills as he all but demanded to know. What makes you think I'll sell you one? Squallow seemed to be more prepared this time. Words flowed from his mouth smooth and calm as lake waters. Voy. I'll admit, for a new blood, you're surprisingly good with counterintelligence shit. A pause, a quick motion of his sword arm, slashing through the air between them. But not that good. Squallow stared at him hard, truth in his eyes, ringing through his voice. Who do you think has been keeping Vongola and the big names in the dark about your little famiglia? So it was you. And yeah, he'd had his suspicions for a while now, because no matter how useless Imitsu had been in regards to home security, Naruto wasn't fool enough to assume he was dead incompetent, or that the same applied for the whole of CDEF. Only he hadn't quite counted on the Varia jumping in like a fucking ANBU in shining armor and saving the Kunoichi in distress. He closed his eyes, pressed the heel of his palms against his lids and exhaled slowly, speaking past clenched teeth. I never asked you, I know. Squallow was quick to cut him off with an amused huff. But despite your soft-as-fuck mentality, oddly enough, I kinda like you, ramen trash. Which, he regretted saying as soon as it slipped from his lips, judging by how he choked on his spit, strangled by his own laughter, and boy, he couldn't do suave and cool, even parroting Naruto who was the king of awesome, if his life depended on it. Probably why the next thing to come out of his mouth was a lame, painfully obvious, attempt to cover his ass. Bell's been, fuck, he's more stable than he's ever been, and that's saying something. Really, now? Naruto quirked a brow, vindicatively entertained, sarcasm dripping from the tip of his tongue. Cause, correct me if I'm wrong, I could have sworn you said the exact opposite when you barged in. Fuck off, ramen trash. A scoff, but there was no heat in it, more habitual than anything. Squallow floundered for a moment, then rallied again, sticking to his guns and building his defense around that lame excuse. My point is, your famiglia's been good for the bratty prince, so I repaid the favor the only way I knew how. I wouldn't have brought it up either, but CDEF's starting to realize someone's been feeding them misinformation. Sawada Trash might be a fucking useless moron, but lol Merch isn't. If Mammon wasn't as good as he is at weeding out spies, we'd have been infested with rats years ago. Yup, called it. Naruto memorized that name. Lol Merch sounded strangely familiar. Where had he heard it before? Pushing his stray thoughts aside and focusing on Squallow, who had gone miles beyond his comfort zone, but kept prattling on, an incessant string of words that made little to no sense outside of context. It was quite a sorry sight, really. I'm not asking. Look, things haven't been the same ever since the 9th Ice Xanxus. We need an edge over CDEF. Hell, Mammon even agreed to pay any price you name. That shitty miser's loosened up after the curse got broken, which let me tell you, is weird as hell and 7 shades of wrong. Naruto sat up straight and snapped his fingers mere inches from Squallow's face. Whoa, back up, hold on a minute, what do you mean iced? It was the wrong thing to ask. Squallow almost bit his fingers off, unmitigated wrath on his face, snarling and spitting mad and swinging his sword around. Exactly what it fucking sounds like. There's some bullshit sky technique Primo passed down that can literally freeze you in time, not that it's any of your fucking business. Yeah, no. Naruto's arm shot forward faster than the eye could trace, his hand wrapped around the middle of the blade, fingers gripping tight, dismissing the sharp bite of metal as it heated under the smoldering pressure of his fire chakra. Kitty gloves were off. Sympathy or no sympathy, he couldn't let that shit slide. Leaning in close to impress the gravity of the situation on the enraged man, Naruto set him straight. You're gonna make it my fucking business if I sell you fire chakra summons, and you use them to finish what you started 7 years ago. Squallow's shock showed in the widening of his eyes, in the way he recoiled as if burned to the bone, and Naruto snorted, releasing his sword. Please, I'm not an idiot, that's not the first time I've seen how this goes. Voy. His verbal tick sounded hoarse, shaken, seething with suppressed emotion. His Adam's apple rose and fell as Squalo swallowed his rage, temper cooling down, and scrutinized him, seeking the origins of this sudden confrontation. Naruto would admit, as far as Squalo was aware, it had come out of the blue. I still don't see why it matters to you. Well, the cat was out of the bag now, so there was no point in hiding things. Might as well cut him some slack. How about this? I'll cut you a deal. Naruto locked eyes with him, his stare heavy with intent, his offer sure-spoken and final. A peace offering. You don't touch Federico di Vongola, and I'll make an exception for your division commanders, but only them. As predicted, it deepened Squalo's scrutiny, his curiosity. Why? Because, a lazy drawl, mirth thrumming low in his throat, and something bitter, disagreeable. That fucking useless moron you mentioned? Sawada trash? What's he got to do with? Happens to be my fucking useless father. Squalo appeared completely floored, like he just blinked and without warning the world tilted off its axis, shifted into this new, strange reality where pigs could fly, hell had frozen over, and Naruto was Imitsu's spawn. He whispered, after he managed to pick up his jaw from the floor, as if modulating his volume would somehow keep it from coming true, keep it contained in the sphere of imagination and impossible things. The fuck did you say? Naruto snorted with laughter, though a grimace creased his face. You heard me. It kinda pains me to admit it, so don't make me repeat myself. You are Primo's blood. Squalo was liberally muttering to himself, all the while chugging glasses of champagne like he was doing shots. Fuck me sideways, it all makes sense. I can't believe I fucking missed it. Also vacillating between voice frequencies in an erratic pattern. Skies like you never come out of nowhere. I fucking knew something felt off about your everything since the moment I first laid eyes on you. In the middle of having his 9th glass shot, his head whipped towards Naruto, champagne spilling down his chin and all over his shirt and pants, caught in the throes of some great epiphany, and possibly halfway buzzed. Voy. If Federico bites the dust, that means you're next in line. Yep. Seeing as I'm the Shodai of Konoha though. Indolently, Naruto shrugged, all casual dismissal and no fucks given and insolence. I'd say that ship has sailed. The 9th won't see it that way. Squalo half slurred, but before Naruto could tell him where Timoteo could stick it, there was a swell of blue fire chakra and Squalo's face turning stone cold sober in 5 seconds flat. And I should care why? Had barely left Naruto's mouth when Squalo looked him straight in the eye and said with the conflicted visage of someone divulging state secrets to a maybe ally. We didn't take out Massimo. Huh. Well, damn. There went his dogs of Civil War theory. Still, Naruto believed him. The Kiri reject speaks the truth, Kurama rumbled, kicking him out and going back to power napping. So all he had to say was, no shit? Squalo nodded, somber, but greatly relieved, tongue loosening when he detected no censure in Naruto's body language. Naruto refilled his glass to help him along. Enrico was like, an eye for an eye kind of thing, an heir for an heir, you know? But we stopped there. What good would it do to weaken our own famiglia? Sides, Enrico would have been a shitty decimo, too much brawn, not enough brains. Massimo, on the other hand, had the smarts, but he lacked ambition and had no real backbone to speak of. Whenever there was any kind of dissent, he was the first to fold like a house of cards. Squalo paused for a deep swig of champagne, then continued as if he never stopped. Federico's actually not half bad. Unlike the rest of his family, he's never looked down on us. Also, he's the only one who gave a fuck about what happened to our boss. I heard he had a nasty row with the 9th and they didn't speak for months afterwards. He's no Xanxus, but he's better than nothing. The expression that twisted Squalo's features betrayed his line of thought, his undying hope. Naruto could even feel it in Squalo's chakra, the loyalty of a right-hand man, that under his breath might even unfreeze Xanxus. And well, he could admire the loud bastard's tenacity, if nothing else, because on a personal level, Vongola was turning out to be more trouble than he had previously imagined. I hear you, man. Naruto brought the glass to his lips and tipped it back, downing his drink, then addressed the one thing, red herring, red alert. His super intuition screamed like a banshee. That put him on his guard. But if you didn't take out Massimo, then who did? That's the thing. Squalo shot him a meaningful stare, silver eyes narrow, appreciative, all gleaming edge and thank fuck, Primo's genes rewrote Imitsu's. Nobody knows. Shit, Naruto let out a stream of expletives, cursing his shitty luck. If his useless father had fucked him over, he didn't yet know what he'd do, but it sure as fuck wouldn't be pretty. You're not saying Sawada Trash did it? Mercifully, Squallow's reply absolved his useless father from blame, though not all of it. Imitsu was still a dead man walking. Nah, not his style. He wasn't a big fan of Massimo, thought him a pathetic excuse for a man. His words, not mine, but he would be the last person to sabotage Vongola. You're not denying it was C-Def. Pretty damn sure it was. Question is, why? Why would someone supposedly under Imitsu's command sabotage Vongola, yeah? Unless it was only this Massimo dude they wanted out of the picture? Then again, that was too good to be true. With Naruto's shitty luck, it was probably the former. So, Naruto drew in a deep breath, quelling his murderous urges. Imitsu would fucking die when he next saw him, coming to terms with what the future would bring. Federico might actually bite the dust no matter what. And yeah, a third of this Vongola bullshit was that asshole Zanx's fault, but he kind of liked Squallow and a deal was a deal. Thanks for the intel and for covering our tracks. We'll talk numbers after the show's over. Hearing that, Squallow flashed him a shark-toothed grin, which Naruto really didn't like. Voy. Federico's alright on paper, but he's got nothing on your sky. Not gonna happen, Sword Psycho. Just saying, ramen trash. There was a blur of lights and sounds, eruptions of fire chakra and fireworks splitting the sky asunder and Arya taking the stage amid the spectacular show. Silence dominated the stadium in the charged moment, but after Arya's opening speech, loud cheers and frenzy. Naruto observed them with amusement. Squallow opened a new bottle of champagne. Mukuro stole the spotlight. He appeared out of thin air, sat on a throne of slithering vines, his fire chakra python. Lucifer? Really, Kuro-chan? Where did you get that lame naming sense from, lazing around his shoulders? That brat, so damn uncute, so getting white chocolate truffles when he won the whole damn thing. Mukuro loved all the chocolate. Except white. Holy mother of fuck. I thought your Tinkerbell mist was the stuff of nightmares, but your creepy Miss Brat? That vine thing is on a whole nother level of messed up. Shit's mentally scarred me for life. I'm staying the hell away from fucking Flora. I'm sorta desensitized to Mokutan fuckery and plants trying to kill the shit out of me. Seen too much of it, you know? Kuro-chan really likes his sci-fi mindfuck. Or who are you texting? Mama needs to take notes of this alien tentacle porn shit. So it's your Miss Division that's suffering this year? That joke's gotten old, ramen trash. For you maybe. Now come on, tell me, what's the real reason? Sawada Trash has been sticking his nose into our internal affairs for years. Let's see how he likes taking it up the ass for once. Unless you mind, nope, by all means, give him your worst. Voy. You're a fucking bleeding heart for brats, but that right there's why I like you. Still not happening, Sword Psycho. Still just saying, ramen trash. V. Just what the hell is wrong with your Miss Brats? They have got to be the most fucked up mist I've ever seen. Feels like I'm watching some kind of sugar-addicted mini TNI specialist working on a poor fuck. With illusions. And poison. And holy shit, that's just not right. There's hitting below the waist, and then there's that. It was totally your lightning brat's fault. Stupid boy shouldn't have laughed at her dango sticks and told her girls are only good for baking sweet delights. Enko-chan takes that shit seriously. Voy, I'll give you that. Dante deserved it for being a chauvinistic pig, though that's more Levi's fault for infecting the Lightning Division with his stupid sexist views, but she went too far. Nah, just skewered him a little bit. You should have seen those trafficking assholes we met back in Australia. Enko-chan made esmores out of their balls before the Vind Ice could round them up, and trust me, it takes some real skill to outrun Jaeger's chains. I'm swearing off Dango for life. What the actual fuck? Did your Rain Brat's pet penguin spit out a shower of ice needles? How? Rain flames don't work like that, and I should know. Sure they do. Zero-chan just let off a couple of overheated volleys. It's still not legit Hayaton, but if you get the timing right, it comes pretty close to mimicking ice release. Hot water freezes faster in midair, as only physics. Man, wait, are you actually writing it down? Yeah, keep talking. So even your own division sucks balls. Wow, you're hopeless, Sword Psycho. When I figure out this Hayaton bullshit, I'm gonna freeze the fuck out of your balls, ramen trash. Voy, ramen trash. Just answer me this and I'll shut up. That'll be the day. Let's hear it then. Did you steal the Sun Brat and his freaky team from Cirque du Soleil or Rambo's Circus or what? You know what? Yeah, that's exactly where I found them. Bullshit. Tell me the fucking truth. You can't handle the truth. Try me, bitch. I once walked in on Lus getting his freak on with his collection of pretty little dead things. If that didn't break me, nothing will. Alright, you asked for it. Here, have some champagne. This is gonna take a while. You'd better not be yanking my chain. Shush. Just listen and don't interrupt me. Ahem. It was a warm, sunny day in late June when I received the call that would end up forever changing the mafia world as we know it. Of course, I didn't realize at the time that I was called to usher in a new era of peace and organized crime. A tale of captivity and deathless justice, inhuman experiments and tortures, lion-hearted children and cursed warriors, blood and vengeance and unsung heroes, and yeah, Naruto might or might have not expanded, read, to full-out Tolkien and beyond lengths, and embellished just a tad. It was Kurama's fault, honest. Who told him to recreate the killing intent for special effects? He also might or might have not expected to find a limp mess of a man draped across the velvet throne chair beside his when he finished his glorious summertime saga. Murmurs fell from Squallow's lips, saliva slavering down his chin, limbs sprawled in awkward angles, eyes dazed, unfocused. His champagne glass had at some point slipped through his fingers and now lay in pieces scattered across the floor. Naruto kicked the man's leather-clad shin. "Oh, are you still there, sword psycho?" Squallow stirred at the sound of his nickname, raised half-clouded eyes in Naruto's direction, though a little off the mark. A whimper crawled out of his throat, a broken, soulless thing. I will shut up now. Chapter 25. Naruto was regretting his decision to switch teams with Xiaomao now that Team C had been cleared for higher-ranked missions. But not only did the pervert fit in with the circus brats better, he had also threatened to retire if he didn't get a break from the Kyo duo and their killer birds soon. Although why he thought killer snakes were the lesser evil was a mystery. So here he was, his first official A-rank mission with Team A, sitting in the Bovino Famiglia's conference room, listening to their braggart Don, dubbed Crazy Afro, because that dude's hair was crazy, as he pontificated about science and monopoly and elitist shit like that, all the while making an awful ass of himself. In short, Bovino was a big fish in a small pond. Crazy Afro felt threatened by what he had termed a ragtag group of new blood whelps with no respect for tradition, and his brilliant solution was to arrange a meeting where he could show off his Famiglia's technology, throw his weight about, intimidate with veiled threats, and be an all-around schmuck. It now made perfect sense why Team A had chosen this mission, even though Tetsuya had marked it down as low A rank. Treaty negotiations requires diplomatic skills, optimal for liaison officers. It was right up Xiaomao's alley, but more importantly, the type of migraine-inducing bullshit that fell under boring Kage duties. The irony didn't escape Naruto. Boring as hell or not though, it turned out to be a very good thing Naruto was personally leading this mission, because Crazy Afro was full of shit. Within an hour of their arrival, while Naruto had been stuck listening to this asshole blathering on about enlightenment and his great-great-great-someone, Team A had infiltrated Bovino's research labs and discovered these tech morons were attempting to reverse engineer Fuinjutsu. Naturally, negotiations broke down right there and then. Not that Crazy Afro had an inkling of just how screwed he was since he hadn't stopped talking. "Think you can compete with us? You are grossly deluded," Crazy Afro was saying with an ugly-ass sneer, superiority complex radiating from his pores. "Fortunately for you, I am a reasonable man." Not that his subsequent smile was any better. Slimy, revolting, tainted by greed. "It will be a waste of young talent to simply ignore your achievements, meager as they are, and take rather drastic measures. I believe we can come to an understanding." To that enterprising suggestion, Naruto said, "Uh-huh," and gave a low chuckle. Degenerates were the same in every world, it seemed. No moral compass, gods, no, but an overabundance of rhetoric. "I believe there's been a misunderstanding. Or miscommunication, whatever you want to call it." Disregarding the way Crazy Afro's beady eyes flashed with outrage and his spit-covered protests, Naruto plowed through his hissy fit, because he was a firm believer in, do unto others as you would have them do unto you. If people treated you like trash, then they obviously wanted to be treated like trash. Equal opportunities and all that. "I'm not here to negotiate with you, Bovino. I'm flat out telling you to stop digging into our business before you dig yourselves into a hole so deep, you'll never be able to climb out of. Dare you threaten us? Crazy Afro was still ranting, lost in his diatribe against impudent youth, panting and sweating like a pig. Or no, scratch that, he'd be insulting pigs if he compared them to this wacko. Listen here, boy. You haven't been around for long, so you might not know how we do things, but that doesn't excuse your sheer arrogance. Naruto's brows twitched. Was this dude for real? Now who's talking nonsense? When did I ever threaten you? For a moment, Naruto wondered if Crazy Afro had even registered what he'd so far said or if he was just that dense, but he needn't have worried. His following rant confirmed Crazy Afro had heard every single word and was fully aware he'd been busted. You just did! You might as well have said we're digging ourselves an early grave for merely studying your products. If that's not a threat, I don't know what is. Oh, good. Phew, that was a load off his shoulders. If he'd had to explain why Crazy Afro was way out of line here to top it all off, he'd have been more than a little pissed off. As it was, Naruto felt mild annoyance and a sharp pang in his temples, which made him want to resolve this stupid mess pronto. And speaking of swift resolutions, Naruto knew just the guy for the job. Sighing as if he was addressing an imbecile with no grasp of what he'd brought down on his head, 100% true, Naruto spoke slowly, clearly, leaving no room for misinterpretation. No, that was a verbal statement of fact, which I'm sure the Vindice will be happy to corroborate. What the? Crazy Afro began, insulted and haughty as could be, only for his jaw to near dislocate itself in his shock when Baby Chief tore space apart and landed on Naruto's shoulder. Huh. Naruto blinked. He had honestly expected Jaeger or maybe Jack, but took it in stride and crossed his arms, looking down on Crazy Afro, who had frozen on instinct, the classic flee or fight response. Naruto bet he'd just stay frozen for the duration of Baby Chief's visit. Industrial espionage is an illegal practice and punishable by law. Baby Chief's voice filled the room to capacity. Cold, cultured, perhaps a little amused. You will cease any such criminal activity, effective immediately. Even undead and chibified, Baby Chief was so far above Crazy Afro's station in life that it wasn't even funny. Okay, not true, it was hilarious. But Naruto valiantly held back his laughter lest he spoil the zombie baby's fun. He knew Baby Chief and Undead Company had started feeling genuine amusement and getting their jollies by policing the scum of the earth these days. Beating the shit out of Ramen Alien had been a balm to their black souls, and they already had so little to be happy about. It just wasn't fair to take that away from them. It was the little joys in life that mattered most, after all. Just when he thought Crazy Afro might piss himself, or scream like a little girl, or hit the floor in a dead faint, the door was banged open. A wild stampede and ear-shattering laughter assaulted the room and resounded off the walls in a mixed cacophony that promised a vicious migraine. Jaya ha ha ha! You'll never catch Lembo-san! A maybe 4-year-old in a cow print onesie with an even crazier afro. Was big hair a genetic trait, or a bovino trademark, or what? Rushed inside, and wow, this kid sure had a good pair of lungs. And horrible fashion sense. Like, he had bull horns coming out of his afro and a white tail attached to his backside and large, bovine, impossibly green eyes, and boy, did he rock the bull-calf theme. Haru would love him to pieces if she ever met the kid. Naruto winced, rubbing his poor, abused ears, while Baby Chief remained still as death, but it was Crazy Afro's averse reaction that alerted Naruto to something worrisome. Wrong. His super intuition whirred like a helicopter parent about this whole tech mafia cattle farm. Limbo! What have I said about causing a ruckus, you insufferable brat? Crazy Afro hissed, strung tight under their scrutiny, hands balling into fists, seeming ready to spring forward but feet rooted to the floor, glancing at Baby Chief from the corner of his eye, evidently not brave enough for direct eye contact. Can you not see we have important guests? Not to? Afro Calf asked rather than stated, voice still grating as hell, but momentarily faltering. His uncertainty faded away lightning fast. Afro Calf launched into some sort of harrowing tale about uncleanliness and anti-wardens and human rights that was apparently the bane of his existence, and surprisingly eloquent for a 4-year-old. Also referring to himself in the third person, because why the hell not? Afro Calf seemed to be cast in the same mold as all aspiring superheroes, fighting against the system, and yeah, Haru would definitely love him to bits. Wasn't Lembo-san's fault. Auntie Otavio wants Lembo-san to take a bath, but I had one yesterday. Unfortunately, Crazy Afro wasn't the least bit moved by the boy's plight. If anything, The more passionate Afro Calf grew as he defended himself, the angrier Crazy Afro became, until he was so far gone in his fury that he actually forgot Baby Chief's presence and revealed his true colors. "And you shall have one today as well," he spat with a prominent sneer that was 10 times worse than the one he had fixed on Naruto. "As punishment, you will forego supper and spend 1 hour in solitary confinement." Wait, what the fuck? Solitary? As in locked up? Like in a prison cell? What kind of fucked up mafia cattle farm was this dude running? Afro Calf's lips quivered, green eyes wet with tears. But before he could open his mouth, Naruto grabbed him by the tail of his onesie, pushed him behind his legs and cut in. "Hey now, he's just a brat. Chill out, man." Cue sneering and oratory bullshit, and tons of false bravado. Despite his many faults, Lembo is a bovino. Withholding sustenance and hourly isolation are perfectly acceptable for a child his age. It is not as if we endorse corporal punishment, and in any case, I don't have to explain myself to you, Konoha. You have no right to interfere with our famiglia's disciplinary methods. You have caused us enough trouble as it is. It only took Baby Chief saying 2 words to pulverize Crazy Afro's composure. "Unfit guardians. Beg your pardon?" He ended up stuttering, crab walking sideways and jumping behind his chair as if that would offer adequate protection from the zombie baby's cold appraisal. Baby Chief had no fucks to give. Neither did Naruto. But someone had to deal with this pretentious asshole, so he took over after nudging the zombie baby with a light shoulder shrug and receiving his signature head slant as permission to proceed. "He said you're not fit to raise a goldfish, much less a kid. Locking up a 4-year-old and starving him just cause he's loud and doesn't like taking baths? What the hell, asshole?" When Crazy Afro made to reply, Naruto silenced him with a blood-red glare and a flare of killing intent. "Save it." He then crouched low to scoop Afro Calf up, mindful of Baby Chief's position and holding the too quiet boy with one arm against his other shoulder. "Oi, kid! Where are your parents?" Afro Calf gripped Naruto's shirt and sniffled, but unlike his coward of a cattle herder, the kid met his gaze head-on. "Auntie Otavio takes care of Limbo-san." Afro Calf's tone was hushed and didn't imply much affection for said auntie. No love lost there then. Still, Naruto had to make certain he had all the facts right. "You like your aunt?" A small shrug. "She gives Limbo-san great candy if Limbo-san does what he's told." Which, yeah, awesome parenting right there. A plus for Auntie Warden and her great candy bribes. Not that Naruto didn't use the same means when the situation called for bribing. It would be the height of hypocrisy to judge the woman based on that, but something told him that was the extent of Auntie Warden's parenting skills. "And if you don't?" Afro Calf buried his face in Naruto's neck and refused to answer. "Yeah, fucking called it." Well, no more to learn from this front. Kid had already painted a telling picture of his home life. Naruto didn't like it one bit. "Alright, that's it." Taking care not to raise his voice, he secured Afro Calf in his embrace and pinned Crazy Afro with the weight of his red-eyed glare. "Are there any more kids in this godforsaken famiglia?" Crazy Afro, who had lost his stutter and regained some of his bravado now that Baby Chief wasn't handling things, shook his head. "Limbo is the sole full-fledged member under the age of 18, if that is what you mean." Great. And it really was, for Crazy Afro, because Naruto would have razed this tech mafia cattle farm to the ground and salted the earth if more kids were being mistreated. Now he was more inclined to give them a chance at redemption, provided they didn't fuck up a second time. And he would be watching them. Very, very closely. "Here's what will happen. We'll take care of Limbo until you can hire someone with the proper qualifications for raising kids." Crazy Afro had other ideas, though, probably as bright as his become Marfu and Jutsu bitches or face destruction idea, so he didn't let Naruto get any further than that. "You can have the ungrateful brat for good if you want him so bad." Spittle flew from his mouth before he gathered himself to speak in semi-rational sentences. "He'll be no great loss, I assure you." Full of bile, at that. Naruto had a split second to cover Afro Calf's ears since that bastard kept spitting out things no child should ever have to hear. We never wanted him in the first place. If only his parents hadn't blown themselves up. Brilliant scientists, the both of them. We had hoped he'd inherit some of their talents, but so far he's displayed nothing beyond an unusual affinity for electricity. Naruto was aghast. He just stood there, speechless, vying to understand what kind of screwed-up logic Crazy Afro was using to reach that conclusion, but he was coming up blank. How would you know that? He's 4 years old, for crying out loud. Nothing says he's not gonna grow up to be fucking brilliant. In retrospect, he shouldn't have asked, because Crazy Afro's response made him see red. We tested him, of course. Spoken as if it was the most natural thing in the world to perform who knew what sort of messed up experiments on little kids. Fuck, it was the Estranio shitfest all over again. You. Naruto growled, but as Afro Calf began to shiver and shake and sniffle again, he instantly calmed. You know what? Fuck it, this place makes me sick. You're not worth it. Come on, Bochan. Unclasping the boy's vice-like grip on his shirt, Naruto squeezed his hand and smiled. Warm, encouraging, open with acceptance. You can visit your family anytime you want, but I'm not letting you stay here. If Afro Calf noticed Naruto's pause and the fury coding that word, it didn't show. Instead, he sucked on his bottom lip to stop his hiccups and verified his intelligence and potential for greatness by articulating what his 4-year-old mind could comprehend. You'll take care of Limbo-san now? Forever? Yep. Nodding, Naruto beamed at him, ruffling his crazy afro. Whoa, what the hell, he almost lost half his hand in there. Did he have an active storage seal trap written on his scalp? Meh. He'd get to the bottom of this later, or better yet, he'd let baby Kabuto have a crack at it, because the science baby needed more interaction with small children. Just like Afro Calf. I've got lots of kids you can play with, K? Pinchan's even your age. Predictably, Afro Calf perked up, squealing in delight, then a comical expression spread across his features. He stuck one finger up his left nostril and blurted out. Okay, Naruto snorted. Finally realized he hadn't asked for his new caretaker's name, huh? Afro Calf was a riot. My name's Naruto and I'll be your, whatever you want to call me, I guess. Taking the bull by the horns, pun totally intended, green eyes growing impossibly larger, alight with hope and please say yes, Afro Calf shyly, yet cheekily, asked. Papa? Well, there was only one response he could now give. Sure thing, son. Incidentally, Team A and Baby Chief did not leave until many hours later. Jaeger even made a special guest appearance. And Jack. And their kinky chains of doom and merciless justice. The time for glory had come again. Voy. Ramen trash. Bad news. Naruto pinched the bridge of his nose and cursed. Why was the universe so fucking dead set on ruining his awesome I'm the king of the world moments via ear-splitting, blade-swinging, pissed-off sword psycho? Although, that wasn't quite right. Squalo seemed less angry, more defeated, his face lined with exhaustion and dark circles, the mien of someone bearing grim tidings. Shit. Naruto cursed again, because that could only mean Federico's dead? Squalo drained his glass, then nodded as he refilled it, sinking into his throne chair. As a fucking doornail. Naruto's mood blackened. Vongola losing its last heir should have been hot news and spread like wildfire within days. The fact that it had been pushed under the rug was fishy, and the hallmark of an inside job. Easier to hide the body, make up some bullshit excuse and pretend the victim was unavailable for the time being, if there was nobody to take credit for the murder. A growl built inside his chest. How? That's the thing. Squalo laughed, but it was devoid of humor, edgy with spikes of betrayal, reminded Naruto of their last conversation and the worrying thoughts they had exchanged. Nobody knows. There's not even a body left to bury. We only found his bones. Which, made it even worse. Frankly, it reeked of root plants and Danzo's modus operandi and taking an organization apart from the inside. Little by little, piece by piece, and yeah, Naruto loathed backstabbing shit like that. Who knew how many people had paid the price for the sake of one man's ambitions? Timoteo's sons were the visible targets, the ones whose deaths had an impact on a larger scale, but they couldn't have been the only deaths. Operations like these left behind a trail of cooling corpses and grieving families, cleverly disguised as accidents, or even suicides. That C-Def had yet to cotton on spoke of gross incompetence on their part, but also convinced Naruto whoever this man was had once been part of Vongola, perhaps still was. To pull the wool over their eyes so thoroughly, so completely. Only someone who, had once, belonged to the upper echelons could have sufficient knowledge to pull it off so flawlessly. So, our mysterious C-Def assassin strikes again, but at least that confirms he's got a vendetta against Vongola as a whole, not just a personal grudge against Masamune. Nothing for it then. Naruto let go of his anger with a heavy sigh. There was no fucking point, the deed was done, the dead were buried, Only thing left was damage control. What's Timoteo thinking of doing now? Squalo kept quiet for a moment, eyes downcast and mapping the surface of his drink, lost in his reflection. Naruto thought he might not answer this time, that he had pushed too far, had abused the tentative bond of trust they had forged, but was proven wrong when Squalo parted his lips. It wasn't distrust that delayed his words, he came to realize, but bitterness. The Nine's big on family unity and democratic shit like that, you know? It creased Squalo's forehead, curled the edges of his mouth, an ugly, twisted expression, pain and resentment, and something raw bleeding in the space between them. He's been having all sorts of meetings behind closed doors, which we are excluded from, by the way, but news travels fast within the famiglia. That same laughter spilled forth, that jagged, hollow thing. He washed it down with champagne, swallowed long-held grudges, all personal feelings, until his voice smoothed out to what Naruto likened to an ANBU report. He didn't know which of the two was better, not that it mattered what he preferred, so he let the man talk, let him bleed it out. Opinions are many and varied so far. Timoteo's playing with the idea of calling in Reborn and having him tutor you, with his guardian's full support, I might add. Half the traditionalists are pressuring him to unfreeze Xanxus instead, but there's no chance in hell of that happening. The other half are in favor of Sawada trash ditching CDEF for the Decimo position, though it's too late for that, or tracking down Enrico's illegitimate brats and grooming them for higher things. Gods know that stupid bastard had at least a couple. Sawada trash has been holed up in his office, hella cagey and sweating bullets. He's even refusing to take the Nine's phone calls, which says a lot about how opposed to the tutoring plan he is, but it's only a matter of time before he caves. A sneer towards the end, an iota of disgust, as if he was tasting something foul. Squalo lifted his glass, stared at him through the thin, expensive crystal. I reckon you've got maybe a year before the world's greatest hitman comes knocking on your door. Then he drained his glass in one swallow. Awesome. Naruto's fingers clenched around his glass, knuckles whitening, before he loosened his hold, and copied him. As the champagne slid down his throat, cool and light and fruity, rage rose and grew and boiled in a mass low in his stomach, and goddammit, you stupid, useless old man. What happened to don't worry, my tuna fishy, Papa will protect you and you'll have a long, nice civilian life, I promise, huh? Your word means shit, Kyuso Oyaji. What if I actually wanted to have that sort of life? Or sage forbid, I was just a normal kid. You'd have ruined my life. Worse, you'd have brought the mafia into our home and gotten Kasan killed. She had no concept of danger 2 years ago, and she's still not all there. Kurama fanned the flames by recounting every single one of Imitsu's failings with terrible clarity, accompanying Naruto's soliloquy with rumbling laughter, an aria of simmering red fire chakra, an inventive, sadistic musical piece. He named it Patricide, the burning of an imbecilic liar, and was eagerly awaiting the live performance. There was nothing to indicate his violent thoughts, no sign of aggression to his posture, his silence, but Squalo must have sensed the bloodlust churning in his gut. Warily, he gazed at him and waited. For what, Naruto had no clue, because what could he do in a stadium filled with valuable clients, really? When Naruto said nothing, kept nursing his drink while contemplating patricide via immolation, Squalo cleared his throat, his wariness slipping into his voice, an almost undetectable tremor. You're not gonna declare a blood feud or some shit, right? Wow, that was right up there with his super intuition. Could it be? Sword Psycho might have looked nothing like Timoteo, but damn, if he didn't have the Vongola Kekii Genkai down pat. Maybe they should have him become Decimo, and ooh, that wasn't a bad idea. Not bad at all. If only that loud bastard wasn't Xanxus' right hand, high priest, and butler all rolled into one. Chances were he'd refuse out of sheer principle. Snorting, but filing that option away, because you never know, also never say never, Sword Psycho for Vongola Decimo might gain support with good PR. Naruto shook his head. Nah, don't worry about it. If Timoteo wants to go down that route, it's no skin off my back. There's absolutely nothing he can do to make me heal, you know. And the disgust was back. Squalo curled his lip, a hint of fong and old rankling disappointment. Doesn't mean he'll stop trying. Yeah, Naruto agreed with him on that front, but Squalo, perhaps on a subconscious level, was still underestimating him. Naruto wasn't the type to just roll over and take it, and Xanxus, the iced asshole, was eligible for the position. Nothing else mattered, not that he was frozen in time or a ball of rage or too goddamn volatile, or that his issues had issues. Probably. All past accounts indicated these facts, but there was counseling for that shit. If things come to a head, he said with a grin that slowly unfurled to show teeth and confidence and vicious satisfaction. Then I'll unfreeze Xanxus myself and hand him Vongola on a silver platter. Also force him to visit a damn therapist even if he had to drag him there kicking and screaming. Gobsmacked, Squalo goggled at him like he had just been told he was the Decimo to be instead of Xanxus. Which he so was, if Naruto had any say in it. He kind of gurgled as he snatched his glass with shaking fingers and gulped it all down, wiping his chin with the back of his hand. He opened and closed his mouth, then opened it again, still kind of choking on utter disbelief and wide-eyed and staring at him with a manic sort of reverence, as if Naruto was old man Rikudo or something. You would seriously do that? Heh. Not could, but would, the insinuation loud and clear. Maybe Squalo hadn't been so much underestimating Naruto's mad skills as his willingness to lend a helping hand to the Varia. And that made more sense, should have been obvious, really, what with Naruto being the dictionary definition of badassery. Yup. His chest puffed out as his grin slashed across his cheeks. Man, it felt good to be old man Rikudo. Kurama made a noise of long-suffering exasperation, grumbling about how he was just like Azura and Monkey See, Monkey Do, and that time he stole Father Shikujo and damn cocky brat strutting around like he was the best thing since Ninshu, but Naruto drowned him out, nothing could bring him down. Suck it, bitches. Sure beats the alternative of me getting saddled with Vongola's messes or dragging some poor, unsuspecting kid into the mafia. Or at least he thought so until he watched the gradual shift in Squalo's disposition, all flowing outwards, agonizingly slow, like blood from a mortal wound, and anguish taking its place on his bloodless face. Starting to get annoyed with all these obstacles popping up out of nowhere just to make his life difficult, Naruto all but growled. God damn it, Sword Psycho. I thought you'd be all for that kind of plan. What's wrong now? Despite skin stretching thin and pallid over his bones, and through the closing walls of his throat, steel wrapped around the whole of his expression and burrowed deep inside his voice even as it cracked and hitched. I promised Xanxus I'd follow him anywhere, and I fucking meant it. He'll always be my shitty boss, but even if you unfreeze him, he can't, he's not. That was as far as he went before his mouth clamped down on itself. Squalo averted his eyes in shame as if he had just committed some kind of cardinal sin, and Naruto ground his teeth together. Not, what? The hell, Sword Psycho? You can't fucking stop at the damn. He breathed out when it struck him with the force of a rampaging biju, and holy shit, you gotta be kidding me, all this motherfucking noise and that asshole's not even. Don't tell me, he's Timoteo's adopted son? No tact whatsoever, too pissed off to care about Squalo's delicate sensibilities, only his wordless nod, because what the fuck? Like seriously, did nobody in this fucked up clan have a lick of sense? Naruto had long since extrapolated that the don of a mafia famiglia was more akin to a village kage than a clan head. Hence, while blood relations did play a big role in the selection process, they could be circumvented if a better candidate was available. Hell, it didn't even have to be a sky. Hayato's father was a storm, that Bovino asshat was a lightning. It was also why he was all for throwing his lot in with Squalo, who had a rain attribute. Being adopted should really have no bearing, especially since Xanxus was a fucking sky. Probably why he'd been adopted in the first place. Who cared about the Vongola Kekii Genkai? Super intuition was useful when mastered, sure, but it paled in comparison to ocular and nature transformation bloodline limits, so no great loss if it became extinct. What the actual fuck, old man? You can't just take a kid off the streets, promise him the world, then just go nope and fucking freeze him till the end of time. You and Junior are in for lots and lots of family therapy, believe it. You know, this reminds me. I once watched an episode of, If You Say Dr. Phil, I'm revoking your TV privileges for 2 months, Kurama. TCH. And you wonder why I sleep all the time. I get no appreciation. Go cuddle with Inari-chan. Fine. What do I know about family drama? Don't come crying to me when all this blows in your face. Okay. Inhaling through his nose, Naruto held the breath in his lungs for 5 seconds, then exhaled, struggling to chill the fuck out lest he stormed the Vongola mansion just to whack Timoteo over the head with his precious pimp cane. Nano Timo might not survive his beloved grandson's visit. So what difference does it make? He's been raised the same as all Vongola heirs. Who's gonna object if they don't actually know he's adopted? 'Cause I ain't telling them. And that was when Squalo lit the match that started the forest fire. "The Vongola rings are blood-locked," he whispered, edging away from Naruto and his steadily rising killing intent and raging fire chakra, while trying to pretend he was totally cool with the whole pyro thing going on. "Say what now?" Naruto snapped, a red haze blurring his vision, fists closing around his champagne glass and crystal melting between his fingers. "Which brainless asshole came up with that bullshit? Primo?" Squalo coughed more than spoke as he edged a little further away. One slow, deep breath. In. Out. When his rage had been painstakingly extinguished, his vision clear of the flaming haze, Naruto scrubbed the congealing glass remnants off his skin, rubbed his face with hot palms, trying to understand what the fuck was wrong with his clan heads. Why were they all so goddamn fixated on blood ties? Family wasn't about blood, it was about trust and love, about having the freedom of choice and bonds forged through shared experiences. Maybe Baby Chief had the right of it with his cryptic bullshit about how first impressions are misleading and you are less alike in the ways that matter, and I call him Jado, for Ieyasu does not deserve the barest modicum of my respect. Naruto sighed, a little mad, a little disappointed in his ancestor. "I'm starting to develop a major grudge against Ieyasu. Good thing he's dead, 'cause he's got a lot to answer for." Squalo, who was straddling the left armrest of his throne chair and grasping his sword like a lifeline, looked as if he was waging an internal battle, though about what Naruto had no idea. Eventually, he ventured with a cautious, musing tone. "They say Primo's spirit resides in the Vongola sky ring?" Shivers crept down the pathway of Naruto's spine. "Why, gods? Why?" Grabbing a new glass, he poured himself a drink and cursed his bloodline in every swearing known to man. How was this his life? Ghosts were supposed to be fictional horror stories in this world, damn it. Course it does. Why the fuck did I ever think there'd be no ghost bullshit? Just as he was about to drown his sorrows in high-priced champagne, his super intuition whistled slyly. Something random, but oh so genius, crossed his mind. "The Vongola rings are part of the Triniset, yeah?" In the middle of climbing down from the armrest while pretending he never climbed it in the first place, Squalo stilled. Rigid, he nodded. "That's what Mammon said, yeah?" A grin of insanity and boundless glee split his face from ear to ear. "Then I've got an inside guy who might be able to solve this problem for us." "Thank you, Ramen Alien. I will buy you all the Shio ramen. Because Ramen Alien would fix this inheritance mess whether he wanted to or not. To begin with, it was his screw-up, but mostly for Naruto's peace of mind. He wouldn't be able to sleep easy knowing Ieyasu was haunting tacky jewelry and creepily biding his time until Naruto put the damn ring on, so he didn't even know what the creepy ghost wanted. Oh, sweet Cammy, let it not be his flesh or his body. Oh, hell no, you can't have my body, go find some other poor bastard to be your glorified meat suit. But he wasn't getting it from Naruto. Nah. No fucking way. He was so going Ghostbusters on Ieyasu's ass. Squalo blinked once, gazed at him owlishly, then blinked again. Voy. His voice was incredulous, and carrying an edge of hysteria. "You mean, like, exorcise Primo's motherfucking spirit?" Mischief stitched into his grin, all teeth and madness and begone, race of the past, you do not belong with the living. Naruto bobbed his head. "Works for me." Squalo's How to Treat Ghostly Entities manual apparently differed from Naruto's, but he was still sort of shaken and couldn't fight back with his usual deafening volume and supreme verve. Don't you think that might be a bit extreme?" Pfft. No, if anything, it wasn't extreme enough for Ryohei's tastes. Chortling, Naruto shrugged. "Take it up with Timoteo. Either he finds another way, or the dead get to rest. Permanently. Sides, I thought you'd be happy. My way ensures Xanxus has an actual chance to be Decimo." And if privately he was rooting for Squalo instead of Xanxus, that was Naruto's business. If Timoteo deigned to ask for his opinion though, he was so going to tell him. Hell, he might even dangle discount coupons for the expensive Fuinjutsu stuff in front of Timoteo's face as an incentive. That put an ignominious end to all of Squalo's protests and misgivings. TCH, fair enough. By the way, Naruto hummed, sipping his champagne and steering the discussion towards something lighter, because there was only so much ghost talk he could take in one day. "What kinda animal did you summon?" A shark-like grin hooked on the corners of Squalo's lips. "Blue shark." "Figures. Can you be any more of a walking, talking cliché, sword psycho?" Then again, considering Inari, Naruto had no room to talk really, so He rolled his eyes. Let me guess, Squalo Jr.? It was a joke, or it was meant to be a joke, but when Squalo didn't fire back something equally mocking, just shrugged and kept grinning with an awkward sort of pride, Naruto spat out his champagne. Squalo ducked in time to avoid the worst of it, but still ended up getting some of the spray on his absurdly long hair. Holy crap. I was joking, Sword Psycho. And he died laughing. Fuck this is priceless. Of course, that reaction merited the appropriate response. Squalo's glass flew towards the back of Naruto's bent head as he wildly swung his sword around and roared. Get bent, ramen trash! And tell Primo to suck my dick while you're at it. Naruto laughed harder, dodging with enviable ease and retaliating in kind, and yeah, it was official. I'm definitely voting for you, Sword Psycho. If the final decision's up to me, you better get ready to take the mantle. Believe it. Only Aria's flashy as hell entrance 15 minutes later managed to snap them out of their scuffle, and by that time, 3 bottles of champagne, 19 glasses, and uncounted strands of soaked silver hair had fallen in glorious battle. Holy mother of fuck. I haven't seen so much destruction since Xanxus learned how to channel wrath flames through his guns and went ape shit on Joker's ass. It's World War III for kiddies down there. Your Storm Brat's a child genius. Like fuck, he's on Bell's level. Only less psycho killer and more terrorist bomber. Yeah, Heichan's a hardcore punk rocker when it comes to explosive seals. Wait, there's a mafia Joker dude. For real? Not anymore. There used to be a fucking local famiglia obsessed with DC's supervillains, called themselves Darham, if you can actually believe it. We had a low-key rivalry for a time, competed for the same contracts and shit, which was embarrassing as fuck, until Xanxus got tired of the Dark Asylum morons butting into our business, and wiped them out. It was a sad joke, all in all, but you can guess who had the last laugh. Does that mean Xanxus is like, what, the mafia version of Batman? Voy. I dare you to call that fucker Batman to his face. Please. Ho. You think I won't? Please. You don't got the balls, ramen trash. You're on, Sword Psycho. Heh. Combining Tenten's twin rising dragons with the Shadow Clone Jutsu? Talk about raining death. Nice, Haru-chan. Voy. How the hell is she a cloud? HM? What do you mean? I mean, look at her. She's cosplaying as Tina Electra. She's riding a pet tiger with glitter claws. Holy shit, that's not a collar, it's a choker. With Swarovski? She's Cloud, just fuck no. Yo dude, just chillax, you're gonna pop a oh man. Dynamic entry never gets old. Go Haru-chan. Kick his ass. Cloud, ninja, bling, voy. That's a fucking budgie. Yeah and? I repeat. That's a fucking budgie. Yeah. And? That's a fucking budgie, yeah I know that. Trash-talking Carmelo while screwing with his endocrine system and gouging out his eyeballs. Obviously. I ain't blind or deaf. What's your fucking point? My fucking point is that a fucking budgie just fucking owned Carmelo, and that brat's been Lust's top assistant for 3 years now. Your son Brat didn't even lift a finger. Shochan's more of a strategist, also doesn't like unnecessary violence, so unless he's forced to step in himself, he mostly lets Galileo-chan handle the action. And the trash talk. Unlike Shochan though, Galileo-chan is all for violence, huge Tarantino fan, seriously. Voy. The fuck? A Tarantino budgie? Okay, now I've seen it all. Voy. I can't believe I'm asking this, but just how many of your brats are into fucking cosplay? Haru-chan's the only one? Yup, just her. Bullshit. What's with the lollipop Jedi wannabe and his R2-D2 life-size figure then? Oh, that? Panchan isn't cosplaying. What do you? That lightsaber is the real deal. Hell yeah. Can I? Hell no. But no,